views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at talkrealsolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of talkrealsolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not talkrealsolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
All right. Welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions, and I am your host tonight, Tyrone Thompson. And I want to thank you for tuning in. Today is June the 20th, the day following Juneteenth. Of course, I wasn't here last night, so happy Juneteenth, belated Juneteenth, to whoever listening to the show. And I hope you guys celebrated Juneteenth. You know, it's like we getting the late start to the races, but I think that is a day worth respecting and celebrating, just as vigorously and just as much as we do all the other holidays. Because when people say that black people don't have anything, well, we got a holiday. I'm just checking my audio, making sure I ain't crazy. Test. Yeah. People say we don't have nothing. Well, we got a holiday. And how we came about it or whatever is, up to how your understanding of it is. But I think it's deserved, and I think we should embrace it. The federal government now recognizes it, and I didn't do a whole lot, but I will acknowledge it. Let me put a picture up some Google pictures, I guess. So, yeah, y'all know me. I am an African American, black man, descendant of slaves in America. That's who I am. That's part of my being, and being such, I know that there's been a lot of distorted history. There's been a lot of lying about who we are. There's been a manipulation of facts about, the way we came to be, the way we are. Hey, what's up, Jermaine? And there's just been a whole bunch of confusion. So, rightfully so, the entire community is confused about, our ancestry. And it's become one of these things that people use in politics to avoid accountability through policy. It's our history is just unique. I've always said that we are the newest tribe, if you will, on the face of the earth. Our brand, our way of existing has never it never existed before on the planet. And what I mean is that we were relocated forcefully to a new land, and after our forced relocation and slavery and all of that kind of stuff, we had to exist in this new place and create our own cultures and our own way of being, just a new brand of people, if you will, a new tribe. And that's just who we are as African Americans. We're like no one else on the planet. Even though you have some people wanting to claim that they are African, you're not if you're African American. And we even we even got some black people or African Americans want to claim that they white. It is what it is. We're confused as a race of people on this planet, and I have an understanding of that, and I understand why we have all these crazy conversations. I understand why people are so angry. I understand why people embrace it. Some of us embrace it and just accept it, and some people are very hell bent in pushing back on who they actually are. And all of that confusion is a part of us. You can look at it as negative, and I always said that I'm a glass half full type guy. I always try to look at the positive side of things, and every bit of that confusion, all of the craziness, all of the attitude, all of that stuff, even the genius in our community, all of that stuff I embrace as being our community, because that's who the hell we are. You know, we're not people that, for instance, take the Asians, if you will, the Chinese people. They've been on that land since they migrated there eons ago. And they can trace their ancestry back to probably a spot of land, where their first person was born. But we can't do that in America as African Americans, because we have been forcefully removed from the continent through the slave trade, and this is us now. And our history has been mudded up. um, when you try to trace back your ancestry to exactly where you came from, that's a impossible feat for African Americans. If you live on the continent of Africa, long as the family still exists there, there's probably a story that is told to tell you where somebody down your lineage came from, what tent they was born in, what hut, what village they was born in. I mean, you probably can do that. Europeans can do the same thing. The Irish people can do the same thing, but we can't. And whether you want to accept it or not, that's who the fuck we are. Just that's who we are. So Juneteenth is a time in history that was marked as I think it was the last slaves were freed in Texas or something. And that's when we got our freedom. um we know the Emancipation Proclamation in 1865 from Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, but everybody didn't get freed at that time. And you had some pushback in Texas to where they won't just like now. You might as well just fast forward it now, just like Texas. They won't trying to listen to the federal government and let the slaves go free, right? So let me. I'm going to talk about other stuff tonight, but I think this is significant. We don't embrace Juneteenth, and I'll tell you why. And I think that's what I call the show. Happy Juneteenth. Why we don't embrace it. And long story short, we don't embrace it because you've been slave brainwashed by your massa to not even acknowledge who the fuck you are. I'm gonna say that one more damn time. You've been brainwashed by your massa to not accept your heritage, your culture, uh, significant times in history about who you are. And that's why in 2020, I'm going to say 2022, 2023, 2024, that's why there's more and more acknowledgement of Juneteenth, because now is the time that people are saying, oh, this is when we were really freed. It wasn't the 4th of July, right? That's when you celebrate Independence Day, right? And every one of you, all of the people, um, all of the people that has been programmed is going to celebrate July 4th just like they always have, with no acknowledgement of our own history and not a complete understanding of what Independence Day is for America. We go out and we do the same thing as white Americans and celebrating uh, the Declaration of Independence for white Americans just like it was us becoming independent. And it wasn't. It wasn't. You were still a slave in 1776. There was no independence for you. But because they hide history, they manipulate facts, and they don't want you to embrace who you are, we've been programmed and brainwashed to celebrate Independence Day just like we was free, and all of us fell for it. As a child, when you're told that that's what you're supposed to be doing, then that's what you do, is you follow the rituals of society. And Independence Day is one of those days, one of those holidays, one of those many holidays that we've been lied to about, that we were told, we regained our freedom from Britain and all this kind of bullshit. And here we are as children just embracing that knowledge that was wrongfully given to us and not acknowledging the actual time period that the slaves were free, and you go out and you cook your hot dogs and you shoot your firecrackers and we yell and scream and drink beer and we're all free. We're free. We got freed on Independence Day. That's just not the way actual history happened. You July 4th, Independence Day, Black Americans were still slaves. And white America, because they wanted to celebrate their independence, of course they had their slaves celebrate their independence too. And us, like big dummies, being in chains and working in the fields, getting lashes across our back. Yes, master, we're free too. That's how ABC and Sarge mindset is. The master say that he got a cold. ABC will say, yes, master, we got a cold. And we're gonna eat our horse pills right along with you. That's just what they do, But the point that I'm trying to make is the 4th of July, I understand it, it's American independence. It's independence from the UK or from Britain at a certain time, breaking free of the monarchy and gaining its own freedom as a country. And that country, oh Lord. Hey, what's up, man? You can't hear me on the thing?
You're not being heard on the conference call.
I hate when that happens. Shit. Hold on for a second. I'll get it right.
I ain't up, man.
All right. Oh, so I've been talking all this. So I'm glad y'all heard me on YouTube, but they can't hear me on the conference for some damn reason. So what I'll do is I'll see if that works. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, I've been talking for a long damn time, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to say all that again. Basically, what I'm saying is that we celebrate the 4th of July with white Americans because we've been brainwashed, but we don't celebrate Juneteenth, the actual independence of enslaved Americans, because we've been brainwashed to ignore that time period and just only celebrate the independence from Britain through the eyes of white Americans. That's what I was saying. So I'm sorry if you missed it on the conference call, but I'm not going to go back all through that. But I'm going to continue with what I'm saying. And I just Googled Juneteenth so I can share with y'all and give y'all some of my recognition of Juneteenth. And here's what the History Channel is saying. It says, what is Juneteenth? Juneteenth commemorates the effective end of slavery in the United States of America. Juneteenth is short for June 19th, marks the day when federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas in 1865 to take control of the state and ensure that all enslaved people would be freed. The troops' arrival came a full 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. Juneteenth honors the end of slavery in the United States and is considered the longest running African American holiday. On June the 17th in 2021, it officially became a federal holiday. Juneteenth 2024 will occur on Wednesday, June 19th. Now, and that kind of alludes to what I was just saying. I said 2022, but in 2021 is when they actually made it a federal holiday. Think about that. Think about that, right? In 2021, they actually made it a federal holiday. And if you say 2021 minus what, 1865, that's 156 years after the Emancipation Proclamation and supposed freeing of the slaves, that the United States of America actually acknowledged this day as a federal holiday for freed slaves. That is, I mean, I could stop there, but in your mind, you should be able to gather how pathetic that is for a country of its own citizens not to even acknowledge the independence or the freedom of enslaved people. Confederate General
President Lincoln sits in the newly built telegraph room, which is located in an office building next to the White House.
Hush. Okay, so the Confederate General Robert E. Lee has surrendered at I don't know what it is, Appomattox Courthouse. I don't know how to say that. Y'all can read this on the screen. 2 months earlier in Virginia, but the slaves remained relatively unaffected in Texas until the United States Jordan Granger stood on Texas soil and read the General Order Number 3. The people of Texas are informed that, in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. That was General Orders Number 3. The people of Texas are informed that, in accordance with the proclamation of the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. So, there's a couple of things that I want to say about that paragraph because it's significant. Robert E. Lee was a Confederate general, right? And it's significant with June 19th because they said that he surrendered 2 months earlier, which means that the South lost. Their general surrendered, right? So Robert E. Lee lost the war and surrendered in Virginia. And that's significant because whenever that means that the Union won and the Confederate flag lost. So they were the enemy of the United States of America, and their general lost and he surrendered. I'm trying to drill this in your head right now because I'm gonna show you how anti-American the Republican Party is, as they say that they still want to erect these Confederate generals and fly the Confederate flag, which means that you are supporting the enemies of the United States of America when your general lost and surrendered in Virginia 2 months earlier. You still trying to fly the Confederate flag when history tells you that you are supporting somebody that is against the United States of America. That's what's significant about that paragraph there, is that the Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered. The Emancipation Proclamation is issued by Abraham Lincoln on January the 1st, 1963. Had established that all enslaved people in the Confederate States in rebellion against the Union shall then be free thenceforward and forever free. So it said in 1863 they freed the slaves. Abraham Lincoln did. But like we're touching on now, the complete freedom didn't happen until 1865 on Juneteenth. But in reality, the Emancipation Proclamation didn't instantly free any enslaved people. The proclamation only applied to places under the Confederate control and not to slave-holding border states or rebel areas already under Union control. However, as Northern troops advanced into the Confederate South, many enslaved people fled behind the Union lines. So that tells you that the Emancipation Proclamation only applied to the Confederate holding states, and the bordering states around the Confederates, they still could own their damn slaves, right? Because they wasn't fighting against the bordering states, they was fighting against the Confederates. So everybody wanted part of the Confederacy. So let's get that clear. Juneteenth and slavery in Texas. In Texas, slavery had continued as the state experienced no large-scale fighting or significant presence of Union troops. Many enslavers were outside the Lone Star State and moved there as they viewed it a safe haven for slavery. After the war came to a close in the spring of 1865, George Granger arrived in Galveston. That June signified freedom for Texas' 250,000 enslaved people. Although emancipation didn't happen overnight, everyone, in some cases, enslavers withheld the information until the harvest season. So whenever the emancipation happened, even when General Granger came down to Galveston, people that owned slaves didn't tell their slaves until harvest season, right? You're going to get these crops in before I set your ass free. Getting every little bit out of those people before they set them free. All right, celebration broke out amongst the newly freed black people, and Juneteenth was born. That December, slavery in America was formally abolished, and the adoption of the 13th Amendment. Let's go with that. The 13th Amendment to the Constitution.
Most of the early founding.
The 13th Amendment to the Constitution, the United States Constitution, ratified in 1865 in the aftermath of the Civil War, abolished slavery in the United States. Now, here's another thing. People keep saying the Civil War wasn't fought over slavery. The 13th Amendment calls you a motherfucking lie. Because after the abolishment of slavery, they changed the goddamn Constitution due to that war. I don't get in these debates with these people because history speaks for itself. Whenever you hear people talking about, well, the war wasn't fought over slavery, yes, it was. Yes, it was. Sorry to say that stupid shit. But I'm not going to debate him because clearly he can't read the goddamn Constitution and find out and understand why the 13th Amendment exists. All right, so the 13th Amendment of the United States Constitution, ratified in 1865 in the aftermath of the Civil War, abolished slavery in the United States. And that abolishment of slavery is a fucking lie. Right? That abolishment of slavery is a lie. Slavery is not abolished in the United States of America because slavery still exists in the forms of imprisonment. We go over this all the time on the show here about what the 13th Amendment says and the misnomer or mislabeling of the abolishment of slavery. Because the 13th Amendment says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted shall exist in the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. All right, so what that means is slavery is not abolishment because there are certain terms that allow slavery. It says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment. So if you getting punished in the United States of America and have been duly convicted, you can be enslaved in this country in 2024. That's what the 13th Amendment says. You can read it for your goddamn self. So when people are saying slavery was abolished, that's just a damn lie. It was only abolished if you don't meet certain criteria. But if you break the laws, or if you're getting punished in this country, right, then you can be enslaved. You can call it being imprisoned. You can call it whatever the hell you want to. But according to the Constitution, you are being enslaved in this country. And I've screamed that for years. And people want to push back and say, nah, slavery don't. Yes, it do. Yes, it do. And you got to understand that's the way this country was founded. This country was founded on using free labor, slave labor. And that's one of the things that made America what it is. And the thing that made America what it is, do you think that they're going to get rid of it? No, of course they're not. They're not. They're not going to get rid of it. So they had to find a way to polish up these words and try to fool society into thinking slavery was abolished. You was taught that in school. Abraham Lincoln abolished slavery. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. All right, so where am I at? Celebration broke out among the newly freed black people, and June 19th was born. That December, slavery in America was formally abolished with the adoption of the 13th Amendment. We just went over the 13th Amendment. The year following, 1865, freedmen in Texas organized the first of what became an annual celebration of Jubilee on June 19th. In the ensuing decade, Juneteenth commemoration featured music, barbecues, prayer services, and other activities as black people migrated from Texas to the other parts of the country. The Juneteenth tradition spread. In 1979, Texas became the first state to make Juneteenth an official holiday. Several others followed suit over the years. In June 2021, Congress passed a resolution establishing Juneteenth as a federal holiday. President Biden signed it into law. Now, we can stop right there. And people are going to push back on the significance of what I just read. When people say that President Biden ain't did shit for black people, I mean, here you got a federal holiday thanks to President Biden. I mean, that's just history. That's just history. Ain't no other president decided to sign the federal black holiday into law. But President Biden, and we know that it was politics, just like it was politics to hire Kamala Harris, but it doesn't matter. It's a federal holiday now, and that's the president that did it. And I don't know why the Democrats don't run on things like that. You know, that's significant. To me, you know, a lot of people have been programmed into thinking and blowing off the fact that they blowing off the fact that Joe Biden actually did do stuff like this, right? And they won't use it in their material in defending Biden policies, and they allow somebody like Donald Trump to go out there and say that because he made some gold sneakers that attract black people. They allow hold on for a second. Yeah, they allow Donald Trump to go out there and say that he's got golden sneakers and that's going to attract the black demographic because he's selling shoes. People don't know how insulting that is. They allow Donald Trump to go out there and say because he's a fucking felon and he's a convicted criminal that's going to attract the black people. We've had people call in here and say that same dumb shit. They allow Donald Trump to take the narrative instead of talking about policies and how to improve the black community through financial institutions and education, how to improve the black community through sciences. They allow him to say and relegate our community down to being criminals and thugs and associating with Donald Trump through the justice system. I don't understand. That's why it's so frustrating to me is that we're not really having policy conversations when it comes to black community. Now, I've got to be fair when I'm speaking toward this angle because that's not the first time that that's happened in politics. I want you to think back. Whenever we come up on election season, no matter who is running for president, they want to talk about prison reform. Right? They want to talk about drug laws. They want to talk about all of these things in politics that they think is going to attract the black voter that is stereotypical and insulting. You know, I don't know how many times I've heard the political season come around and we talking about prison reform. And then they're associating that shit with black people. And that is insulting the black Americans' intelligence because I give a fuck about climate change. I give a fuck about the economy. You know, I care about housing. I care about education. I care about all the other policy issues. I care about the foreign interests of America. Right? Our Social Security. I care about all those things. But whenever it comes down to pandering toward the black community, it's always prison reform or some bullshit related to fucking the justice system. That's the way they pander to black Americans. Or of course, you know, they got to go stand in the pulpit of a black church. So, but, you know, the point that I'm trying to make here is that they allow Donald Trump to get away with that type of stereotypical outreach towards our community. And there's not one bit of pushback from the mainstream media and from our own community. Yeah, we feel hurt just like I'm speaking right now, but this is the only level of pushback that you're going to hear whenever they characterize our community this way. It's not on the level of national interest in highlighting the fact that he's being fucking racist. Because damn near the majority of this country agree with that narrative. And that's a fact. You know, so what else can you do? But anyway, I just want to share that little acknowledgement of Juneteenth with you guys, and I hope you guys celebrate it, and I hope you guys didn't poo-poo it too bad, because I know whenever people started acknowledging Juneteenth, it was like a slow embrace. It was like, yeah, and all this kind of stuff. But it's really significant because your ancestors, they're the ones that made it possible for Juneteenth to exist. They're the ones that bore the brunt of being enslaved and experiencing the time whenever freedom did come to all enslaved people. And you should not, I'm telling you, you should not ignore the fact that time period was significant to your ancestors. You should not, just because you've been programmed to believe that July 4th is Independence Day and not been told that Juneteenth is actual freedom for Black Americans. Just because you've been programmed that way doesn't mean you should continue to not acknowledge Juneteenth. The right would probably paint it as some methodology from the left to pander toward Black people and all this kind of whatever the fuck they're gonna say. I don't even know. I haven't even heard their opinions on Juneteenth. But I'm telling you, as an African American, as a Black American, I know that I have been a victim of brainwashing and manipulation in this country in such a way to where they make you hate your own goddamn people. They make you hate everything you stand for. They make us fight with one another. They come into our houses and they break us up. They pit us against one another. It was a strong buck against a strong buck, and the strongest buck got to breed with the women and all this kind. They've got a system of dividing us in this country, right? And not allowing us to come together in solidarity under anything. And you've got to push back against that mindset, that indoctrination. You've got to educate your own self so you will know what to and what not to push back against. Because it's easy and convenient, right? It's easy and convenient to get handed information and you just accept it. That is easy. That is why the church is built the way it is. That's why you have a pulpit in the church and the congregation sitting in the pews. Because you could just as easily read that damn Bible. But you got one pulpit in front of a whole congregation, and there's one man or one person standing in the front giving you the information instead of you using your mind to read the information. That's why you have that's why it's set up that way. That's why you got schools set up the way they set up, because you got one person in the front, the teacher, to read the books and give you the information, and you sitting in the desk and you're receiving the information. Right? That's why our government is set up that way. Because you got one head of state, one head of legislature, one judge, one whatever the fuck, and they reading the laws and the rules and the policies, and they're telling people how to interpret those rules and laws. Instead of you reading the rules and laws for yourself and coming to your own understanding. So I'm saying with the African American experience and history, you need to be the one that is reading the information about your own history and not wait for somebody to hand it to you, not wait for somebody to teach it to you or preach it to you. And if you run into a brethren or a counterpart, African American, and y'all have a discrepancies, that's when you sit down and you talk about it, you debate about it, and you come to a correct understanding. That's what needs to happen. Because us getting handed information and told about our history and taught our history from someone else, those days are past. You cannot trust anyone else. If you don't know now that you cannot trust anyone else to tell you about your damn history, you will never know. The fact that in 2021, Joe Biden had to sign the federal holiday into existence in 2021 should tell you before 2021, you were being manipulated about what the fuck Juneteenth was. It wasn't until this same time period. Uh-oh.
No, that's me. Just let me know, man. I want to get in there after you.
Oh, okay. I was just talking, man. Just give me. I'll just say this last thing, and you can speak. But it wasn't until this It wasn't. What the hell was I getting ready to say? ABC done fucked me up. But anyway, my point is, we have been manipulated throughout history about who we are, and this is just one item. This is just one thing, Juneteenth, that we know that we got told lies about. Another thing that comes to mind is Columbus Day, how Columbus discovered America, and all of a sudden we found out that Columbus was a criminal and slave trader and whatever the fuck he was, you know, and he didn't really discover America because he didn't land here. He landed somewhere in Central America. These are the lies that we've got told throughout our history. And of course, about our community, we got told lies about Juneteenth, and now is the time to go ahead and start embracing it, even though it's a day late and a dollar short, right? Even though we have been told to celebrate the 4th of July, we actually know now that the date that the last slave was freed in Galveston, Texas, when all black slaves have become, that is something that we can look at as a holiday and say, okay, this is when we gained our independence, our freedom in this country, and we should turn it into a national day of celebration for our own community. Not to impress anybody, but to tell our story, to share with our children, you know, the struggles that we went through. You know, a lot of people look on slavery and they're embarrassed. They're shamed. If you look at the picture on the screen, right? I'm pretty sure these are either of enslaved people or freed enslaved people around Juneteenth. And they look at that picture and they see people that are not dressed properly, dirty. They got on these crazy hats and they look like, you know, and that's embarrassing to Black Americans, right? It's not somebody going across the moat of a bridge of a castle and all this kind of bullshit and shining armor. That's not us, right? This is our history. And there's nothing wrong with embracing everybody that's standing by this pier. There is nothing wrong with embracing all of our African American, no matter if they did get dirty, no matter if they were sweaty. It doesn't matter. They're our ancestors, right? And we have grown, or we have came a little further than they came. And that's why we should embrace it, because we know that we're learning through evolution of society, of our own society, on how to grow and be better. And not get handed shit as a lie about our own history. So this is what I'll do, is I'll let ABC get in there, and I see you two callers. I'm gonna open your line after ABC get finished, and then we'll get this thing going if y'all want to have a conversation. What's up, ABC?
What's happening, man? Yeah, you said that we've been brainwashed about 4th of July. And, you know, I mean, I'm one that talks about how we're brainwashed on different stuff. So I get that. But you said we're brainwashed about 4th of July, and we need to think for ourselves about these different things. Did I hear that? Is that correct? That's what you said, right?
Yeah. I said it.
Okay. So then Juneteenth, you said that the Black people, you can't say that for those people that said Joe Biden didn't do anything for us, he gave us this holiday. You said that too, right?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's what I said.
I want to be sure that I'm saying that, it just shows the bullshit, man. So we're supposed to think for ourselves, and all of us knew what Juneteenth was about. Black people, anybody, and I think most black people are familiar with what Juneteenth was. We already knew what it was about. So ain't nobody brainwashing us about that stuff. I know you read it just here, and that's cool, but we knew that. The thing is, this holiday, you said Biden did something for us. So what else has he done for us aside from the holiday?
You want me to go pull up his policies? I mean, is this going to be a Joe Biden conversation or what?
No. I'm just saying, you said that for those people that said he ain't did nothing for us, he gave us this holiday. And what I'm saying is, that's them telling you what Juneteenth is about. Hey, he gave you this, so he did something for you. All right, everybody got it off. Everybody's a holiday for everybody. If you work that day, you're getting paid. Everybody, white people, Asian people, whatever. So what did he do for black people? You saying the holiday is what he did for us. I don't get down with that. But what else has he done for us?
I'm asking you, do you want me to pull up the policies and tell you what Joe Biden did?
I really don't. I really don't. I'm just saying, since you saying that he did this for us, and you kind of coming down on people that's like not really hyped about it and all excited because he gave us this holiday, then I'm assuming something else. You know what he's doing for black people. So
so let me respond to you like this right here. Joe Biden has created policies for black people. The only one that I'm talking about right now was Juneteenth, because I was just acknowledging that was the first president that made this a federal holiday. But if you want me to pull up Joe Biden policies and what he did for Black America, I could do that. Are you saying that he didn't do anything?
I'm saying he's just like all the rest of them. Ain't none of them doing nothing for black folks. I mean, we can say that the civil rights movement put some laws in place to, affirmative action. We can talk about that. But as far as Biden, off the top of your head, I would think you could give us something. But you're talking about a holiday that's for everybody. And it's recognition of something that we already knew of. And what is that we celebrate? We celebrate that the slaves that was in Texas weren't released yet. All the other slaves was released, but the ones in Texas, for 2 years, they were still being enslaved because there was some devils down there who was deceiving them. And it took the federal government to go in there. So we celebrating that. All of us don't feel the same way about this holiday, but I ain't gonna shit on it. I'm just saying, you said that, hey, for those people that said he ain't do nothing for us, Biden, so you making it about Biden. Yay, he gave us this, so we need to vote for him or some shit. That's what it sounds like.
Okay, so since you want to stand on that ground, here it is at whitehouse.gov, a fact sheet. The Biden and Harris administration advances for equity and opportunity for Black Americans and the communities across the country. Let me put a pin in that, because Donald Trump ain't never had a page on his White House Gov to say anything like this. So we're just going to go straight down to what ABC's question is. Through the president's legislation and victories, including the American Rescue Plan and the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill and the CHIPS and Science Act and the Inflation Reduction Act, as well as the president's historic executive orders on racial equality, the Biden and Harris administration is ensuring the federal investments through the president's landmark Investing in America agenda are equitably flowing through the communities and address longstanding economic inequalities that impact people with economic. Okay, I'll just skip down here. Powered a historic economic recovery, created 2.6 million jobs for Black workers, and achieved both the lowest Black unemployment rate record and the lowest gap between Black and white unemployment record. Help Black working families build wealth. Black wealth is up 60% relative to the pre-pandemic and the largest increase on record. Cut in half a number of Black children living in poverty in 2021 through the ARP child tax credit expansion. This expansion provided breathing room for families for over 9 million Black children. Begin reversing decade of infrastructure divestment, including $4 billion to connect the communities that was previously cut off from the economic opportunities by building the needs of transportation and infrastructure to underserved communities, including black communities. Now I can go on. Here go one more. Connected an estimated 5.5 million black households to the affordable high-speed internet through the affordable connectivity program. And the list goes on, and I'm scrolling as y'all can see that the achievement to black Americans, the Trump administration or Republican administrations can never make these claims and have not made these claims. The unemployment rate for black Americans is lower than it's ever been in history. So I don't know what the fuck ABC want me to tell you, but I told you I can pull up the list, ABC. Is there anything else you want to know?
Well, no, I don't. All that's bullshit. It's talking points. I ain't saying you made those talking points. That's their talking points. It don't mean nothing. It's this simple. But the Democrats, but Biden has all of the media on his side. He has the Hollywood and the celebrities. He's got you and most black people on his side. All of that, and you couldn't tell us what he did.
Man,
he had to go pull up the page.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
No,
So
Howard, see, I got to put you on mute. Because, see, I'll let you talk, but you just can't cut people off, man. Go ahead, ABC.
So with all of the stuff that you read, it sounds like all these achievements, you couldn't think of nothing off the top of your head. And
because I was talking about June 19th.
Yeah, but hold on. But he's got the media and everything behind him. If he's really accomplishing all this stuff that you just read, then we should know some of this. Another thing that showed that it really ain't what they said is why you got all these black people moving towards Trump or just moving away from Biden.
Who said that? You listening to the propaganda.
It's in the news every day. They complaining about, I'll pull up, well, I'm going to do it on my show. MSNBC, they on there complaining about it. Black
ABC, there's no black, listen, I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to be straight up with you, buddy. There's no black people going to move towards Trump. The only black people, okay.
Moving away from Biden. They might just not vote or they're going to Trump. It's one or the other. But
your statement was they was moving towards Trump.
That's or they're going independent.
There you go, going independent. But whatever it is, it's going away from Biden. But and I'm only saying that to say that if you read all that stuff, that he supposedly did. If he did all that stuff, then why are black people leaving like that? And how come we don't just know about it? You got to go to the webpage and read off the White House stuff, and it's all bullshit. Most of it he's talking about after the pandemic, which of course the pandemic brought everything down. So I'm just saying,
okay.
All
right, so okay, hold on, Antoinette. Here is some of the propaganda that you're reading. Donald Trump visited a supposed black church in Wisconsin this past week.
Talking about Trump, man. How come you can't defend your boy without bringing up Trump? I ain't talking about Trump.
Did I cut you off, or did I let you articulate yourself?
You let me go. So
okay. So Donald Trump supposedly visited a black church this past week, right? And ABC said, and I'm going to address what you said. ABC said that the black people was moving away from Biden and towards Trump, or Antoinette said independent. But here is the propaganda. Donald Trump pretended that he was speaking to a black congregation, and when the camera pinned around, the entire congregation, 99.9% of it was white. And what Donald Trump did was he filled those seats with his supporters wearing MAGA hats, standing in a black church screaming Trump, Trump, Trump. Let me tell you how fucked up that is. I went to a black church all my goddamn life. And you're not going to stand in that damn church and scream nobody's fucking name except for Jesus. That's the only person you're going to stand in that damn church name and scream. And you know that was some bullshit because those people were standing in the congregation screaming Trump, Trump, Trump. That's some bullshit in a black church in this goddamn country any damn way. And I'm not even religious no more, but I know that about my damn people. Anyway, it was a setup. It was a setup to fool people like ABC into come on here and saying that black people are moving toward damn Donald Trump, and he's fucking falling for it. You're falling for the goddamn propaganda, ABC. And I'm just going to say this one last time. Black people are not moving towards Trump, and they will vote Democrat. I promise you that. When you watch the exit polls, they're going to vote Democrat because they don't want to be up under some fucking racist ass, sex abusing, fucking criminal convicted orange idiot. Nobody won't be up under that type of control. But anyway, I'll let you respond. Then
Also about
Antoinette.
being brainwashed, and that's exactly what you are, brainwashed. You can't talk
Okay,
about
so
what Biden's doing except talking about Trump.
you don't want to
You're
bring no
brainwashed,
facts.
man.
You don't want to bring no facts. Okay. So Antoinette and then Howard. Go ahead, Antoinette.
Okay, well, thank you, Tyrone. First, what I want to say is that this whole thing with Juneteenth, I don't think people realize how close to slavery we are, that we actually are besides the 14th Amendment. But for cattle slavery, I can speak for my family. My father would have been, his grandparents, my great-grandparents were slaves. My grandfather, who died in 2000 at 93, he died in 1993, and he was 93. He was born in 2000. His parents were slaves. My grandfather was born free. So that's only a couple generations from me and from my grandchildren. So it's not like this is a long way off when people say ancestors and you think something that's hundreds of years ago. That's how close we are to slavery. Now, as far as people moving to Trump, I don't see it. I don't see where you're getting it from. If people are going to leave Biden, I think people are going to go to independent. I don't think people are running and jumping and screaming to run to Trump. Trump has too many things, and to say that black people are going to follow this man who is a lawmaker, who breaks the law and has done it constantly and has shown every imperfection about what's wrong, and he throws it on, he's just like black people. Come on, give us more credit than that. Not every black person is worried about sneakers. Not every black person is trying to get all these felons and things like that and think that that's all us. Just like if it was our children, our folks that was getting all these felons and molesting children, would be shaking our head and be mad and everything at them. So what makes you think that we're going to jump to Trump that's doing it and thinking that it's okay? So that's all I have to say. Thank you, Tyrone.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, Ty? Only reason I pressed the let me talk button is because of this. You're talking about Juneteenth, a very important day to every black person in this nation. Every fucking one of us. And when you open the line for a fucking coon to talk on a situation like that, it's fucking disrespectful.
What the fuck, man?
Let me finish. And I ain't talking about you. I'm saying it's disrespectful to all of those that were there in 1863, 1865. It's disrespectful to all them fucking soldiers that was fighting, that went to Galveston, told them people, got down, told them people, man, they free. It's fucking disrespectful for the first nigga you open up the line, the fucking coon, who gonna go against our ancestors and what they had went through, and it's fucked up. That's the only reason I pressed the button. Don't ever let a nigga like that shit on our ancestors, our people, and what they went through. That's what he does. He's a fucking coon. And he would never shit on the 4th of July. I ain't never heard him do that. Never. But he is shit on Juneteenth over and over again. It's bullshit. And I don't like that shit, Tyrone. You never should have let that nigga come in first and disrespect everything that you spoke on. And this is bullshit. I'm done, man. That shit is bullshit. It's weak and it's bullshit. I'm good.
All right.
Can I also add,
go ahead.
that Delaware was also one of the last states It wasn't just Texas, it was also Delaware. Delaware was one of the last states that was given their freedom as well.
Okay. Well, and the I kind of don't understand, being that ABC is from Texas, why it's not more significant to him. I don't know how far he lives away from Galveston, but it seemed like, what I just read for you from the History Channel is that Texas is one of the first states that recognizes Juneteenth as a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
since he was raised down there, I guess, I don't know what got into these people's DNA or they system to cause them not to acknowledge our own history. I do know that it has something to do with religion, and I do know how it has something to do with how we've been programmed to be ashamed of ourselves, that people push away from who we really are. But there's nothing to be ashamed about. Our history is our history. No matter if they was running around barefooted or eating the slop out of the masses, it don't matter. None of that stuff matters today, as long as we can acknowledge those people and say, because of them, I am who I am. You know what I mean? That's nothing to be ashamed of. Well, I remember when people was looking at roots, back in the day, how some people was embarrassed about how Chicken George was running around there and Kizzy and all of those people and jumping the broom and all of that kind of shit. But that wasn't nothing to be embarrassed about. That was an interpretation of history of how our ancestors used to live. And it wasn't that we lived that way by choice. That's what's important. We were forced into certain conditions and made to live a certain way. So we learned how to survive. It ain't like they gave us all of these luxuries and on this new land and we screwed it up. No, they put us in some fucked up conditions, and the fucked up conditions got more fucked up, and we had to learn how to manipulate through these fucked up conditions, right? And then when emancipation did come, there was no guidebook on how to incorporate yourself into this new society. Now you got to figure it out on your own, and that's what I understand about our people, is that we're still figuring it out. We never figured it out, and we're still figuring it out because we always make mistakes. Just like with ABC and Sarge, they're still figuring it out. They don't realize that they're black people in America, and they're just as susceptible to all of this racism and hate and vitriol as I am. But they don't realize that. They think that they're on another pedestal. And just to bring it back to the conversation tonight, you can tell what I'm saying is true because ABC didn't want to talk about the facts of history. He wanted to talk about what his master told him to speak about, which was politics, right? He wanted to immediately come on here and demonize Biden. He wanted to immediately come on here and demonize the left because that's how he's programmed. That's all he knows how to speak about is the left, liberals, and Biden. And that's all the fuck he knows how to speak about, and that's his enemy. And that's how they get him. They make you scared of something. There's a whole lot. Okay, so I'm saying some more shit right now. The way that people
Tyrone.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Tyrone, when Roots came out, I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said before, I went to a white school, but anyway, I remember the first night that Roots came out and went back to school the next day, and do you know white folks got bold? And they were nigger this and nigger that, and I thought it was almost going to be a race riot at school.
Factually.
Because the black folks, the black men, black boys, however, they were fighting because we were, and it was only a handful of us blacks there, and the majority of the folks there were white. But it was a riot. Not a riot. It was a fight every day behind these white boys watching Roots, coming in thinking that they can call niggers freely.
Factually. In L.A., we whooped ass off Roots. I remember that. But I if I could say something again, Tyrone, and I looked in the chat and seen half Coon Jermaine half real nigga. Oh, he's emotional, this and that. You nigga, that is such bullshit. Every human being in the entire planet ever lived on this motherfucker is emotional. You stupid bitch.
Hold on now.
Yeah, I'm calling him a stupid bitch because he's a stupid bitch. Those are the things that they use to say they don't want a motherfucker like Martin Luther King who spoke with emotions that move people. They don't want a motherfucker to talk like Malcolm X, to talk with emotions that move
Come
people.
on. Yes.
They done took up some shit from these white men and said, you emotional. Because they know that emotional shit moves people to do some shit. So this goddamn half coon, half black nigga talking this white shit, nigga, fuck you. And I'ma still keep it real, Tyrone. Don't ever. I would like to hear the history of Juneteenth. I know it. Some people know it, but everybody don't know it. I would like to hear the history of that. What went down? That sister from Texas that went, and she's still living. I think she's in her 90s now. Still living. How she pushed for this shit over and over and over again, and it finally happened. And thank goodness it happened while she's still living, while these niggas saying you're over emotional. Bitch niggas. These niggas are some bitches. Tyrone, I would love for you to go back, man, and talk about the history of this shit, how it relates, how it got down, and what happened, and how it relates for us today. And don't get over emotional, because you might move somebody to do some shit. Bitch niggas.
Calm down, man. Jesus Christ. This is a PG. This is a family show.
I'm getting emotional.
It's a family show.
Bitch
All right, so
niggas.
this is what I was gonna say. What the tactics that the other side uses. Now I'm saying the other side. I don't want to say right, because when I say the other side, I mean white America. I mean Republicans. I mean racists. I mean KKK. So the other side uses the scare tactics, and they have to have you scared of something all the time, right? So back in the day, it was be scared of Emmett Till, be scared of Malcolm X, be scared of the Black Panthers, be scared of MLK, and they would call you a communist and all of this kind of stuff, Marxist. You have to be scared, so they get all these people with these key words riled up in fear. So if you move it fast forward to today, in the 60s, it was be scared of the blacks, and then like Trump era, it was be scared of the Mexicans, Asians, be scared of them, right? So they have to have you scared of something. And ABC and SARS, they fall for that damn fear tactic. And then even though they are black, but one of the things that they tell you to be scared of is your own self. So you have to go out here and lash out at your own community because you was warned. You was told to be scared of your own goddamn people. So that's why you hear him come on here and not speak about Juneteenth, but somehow or another try to tie it to politics and try to denigrate Joe Biden while we're talking about Juneteenth, because he's programmed. He can't get out of that loop, if you will, mentally. All right. Hey, what's up, Miss Alicia? How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Tyrone. Hi, everyone.
All right.
I see y'all talking
Hey,
about...
how you doing, Sister Elisa? Hey, what's up?
I'm all right. How you doing, Howard? Who else is on the line, Tyrone?
You got Antoinette and ABC and Howard.
Oh, hey, Antoinette, ABC. I'm just now tuning in. So
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. I wasn't sure who all was on, but I hear things. And I wasn't sure what you all were talking about. And you were talking about Juneteenth. I heard a lot of people was running. I saw, not heard, but I saw a lot of people was running it down, and you're gonna have that. People running down Juneteenth. But I did hear Antoinette say that you said your great grandfather was how far removed?
That's right.
Your great. I know, and whenever
My great grandfather.
Whenever I tell people that my great was a slave. and they cannot seem to piece that together. And when I tell them, well, he was emancipated when he was 4. So, and then his first 2 wives died in childbirth after having children. Then his 3rd wife, no, I'm saying that incorrectly. I said that incorrectly. My great-grandfather.
No, you good, Sister Lisa. Go ahead.
Yeah, not my great-great, my great-grandfather. When people go, how is that possible? When they're looking at me, they're like, no. Well, how is that? Are you a boomer? Are you a this? No, I'm not. I'm a tail end Xer. But when I break down the numbers, it does sound very like, oh my God. So he was 4 when he was emancipated. And he had 3 wives. The first 2 wives, they died after having children. 2 of them died after having, I think, 3rd or 4th child in childbirth. And then he had my grandma. And by the time he had my grandma, he was almost like 80 years old.
Wow.
And then my grandma, she raised a lot of her brothers and sisters around, because, as I said, a lot of the children, their mothers and stuff, even the children that were her father's 3rd wife, she stayed around and raised a lot of them. And by the time she had got married, she had taken in, you know how people did way back in the day, they took in other family members, other people's children. And by the time those children got grown, she had her first child. By the time all of those children, so she was way up in the menopause. Because when she got married, she raised up some of her siblings' children. By the time they was grown and married, she had her first child. And my mom was one of the last. And my mom was one of the last ones. So that's how. I know. So if I was to get into the map, I'm not telling people's age and stuff. But if I got into the numbers, people go, oh, okay, I see how that can be. That your great-grandfather was a slave. He was emancipated when he was 4. And his father was master. That was his dad. He lived in the big house. Yes.
Sister Lisa, check this out. I'm going to ask you guys a question. From what I heard, now, maybe you guys can look it up, ChatGPT, Tyrone, Google.
Nuisance.
I heard the last emancipated slave from Texas was in 1942. No, I heard that. I did not look it up to see if it was correct, but if it is correct, that is what, 42, 65, 35, that's damn near 80 years after 1860.
Well, look at Georgia. Look at Georgia, where in the 80s, I think, where they finally found on this plantation. That's what the movie Alice was about, was a slave plantation where they did not know that they were still in, that slavery had been abolished.
Yeah, because white people they ain't exactly going to tell these Negroes, hey, you're free now. Everybody didn't do that. But if y'all want to look that up, let me know, Sister Elisa. I don't know if that's true. I heard that in 1942. I forgot the guy's name. The last emancipated slave. It was either out of Texas. I don't know if they put it down to the city, but that may or may not be true. But that's, if it is true,
I didn't hear that.
That is amazing. That's why I was saying, Tyrone, you can't let a coon shit on Juneteenth, bro. It's people who went all the way. Man, it's too serious to have a coon give his damn white man lecture to us about Juneteenth. Nigga, we don't need that. We want the history.
Okay, but listen, I'm gonna do this right here. I understand what you said, what you're feeling, but I don't want to turn this show into a back and forth about what you like about ABC and what you disagree with.
Gotcha.
I mean, come on.
I didn't say that nigga name. He just a coon to me. I didn't say his name. That nigga's a coon. But I got you. and I'm going on mute. That's it. But look up that 1942 if it's true or not. I don't know. Sister Lisa, if you could tell me.
I'm looking that up, and I had heard that. Now, I know Texas was the last state Texas was the last state to finally release this. Let me see, 19, but I can't find anything for 1942. Juneteenth history. I just know Texas was the last state to do it, and it was after Juneteenth. It was after Juneteenth, so Texas was the last, but I can't find anything on the actual date because they prolonged it and prolonged it. I would have thought it would have been South Carolina, but evidently it wasn't. Yeah, we're not so far removed because that was what 161 years ago. You're talking 1, 2, 3. You're talking. Let's just say the average person. Let's just say 90, because you can do it in lifetime. Because some people live to be 90 something, or some people, a lot of people live to be 90 something. Some people live to be over 100. So 161 years ago, if you're speaking of the actual emancipation, you chop that out. How many lifetimes ago was that?
Mm-hmm.
And emancipation wasn't an instant thing. Boom. It wasn't an instant thing.
No, it wasn't, and it dragged out for a while. So you put it in lifetime. Average person, average age is 70 whatever or 80 whatever. Some people do live to be over 100, 161 years ago. You break that up, kind of, sort of, two lifetimes ago, but I'll go ahead and say 3 lifetimes ago. So we're not that far removed from that.
No, we're not.
Emancipation and then Juneteenth, and not everyone was free on Juneteenth. So, I mean, that's not a day, not a day that I'm like, yeah, let's barbecue, let's celebrate, because it was horrific, and we shouldn't have never been enslaved. But
right.
I understand it's not really a day of celebration, but it's a day that I would give a nod to because that was our ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
My great grandfather was a little boy when he was freed. His wife had him living in house. The master had him living in house, and when they finally went back to Britain, they left the plantation to his children that he had. Because he had something like 8 or 9 children with his slaves. And my grandfather was the last, great-grandfather. Somebody would think I'm around 90 years old. No, I'm a tail end Gen Xer. My great-grandfather was the last one, was the last child to have, and he was 4 years old. Huh?
I think that's Howard talking to someone. But go ahead, Elisa.
Oh, my bad.
They were saying that he was 4 years old. Okay, he could have been 2 or 3, but he was still alive and he lived in the big house because the plantation owner, his wife couldn't have children. He took over the plantation from his brother, who had the plantation down in South Carolina. And his brother died. So it was the brother's wife was left there. So he came over from Britain to run the plantation. He brought his wife. His wife couldn't have any children, so he had him a concubine, a slave, or whatever you want to, And she had 9 children for him. And then when the emancipation went through, he didn't release them right away. Or just so that the story is told, because he knew his brothers and sisters who were grown, But it took some time, and when he left to go back to Britain, because there was no need to stay here, he left the land to his offspring, which was them. And the family still owns the land to this day. He left it all to them. And him being the youngest, most of his brothers and sisters, which was his from plantation owner, They all left. We was a baby child around there. Now, all of them left off to go see what they could do. Some, one or two, hung around. But because his mother was still there, living in the little cabin they had built for her, but as he grew up, he went to school, and he became a preacher. That's what you do. He became a preacher. His first wife had something like 3 children, and she died on the 4th in childbirth. His second wife had a couple of children. She died in childbirth. And then by this time, he was old. And he had to get a third wife because he had all these kids around there that needed raising, that needed help, that's what you did back then. You needed a wife. And he married her, and she had 4 children. And my grandmother was the youngest. Then my grandmother raised it up, all these other kids. She didn't have her first child, so everybody was grown. And she didn't think that she was grown because sometimes it works out that way with the body. That's how it works. Raising up all these other kids, sometimes you won't get pregnant till that happens with people. And she had her first child, my mother's oldest brother and sister and brothers, and they had her. Hey, you talking about my mother was born in the late 50s. So it's crazy when you think about it. My mother, I'm saying the mid-50s. It's crazy, but that's how it works. Old people having children, then another old person have children, and then somebody have children late, and then here I am. So my great-grandfather was a slave. So I take note on that day, and I give it a nod. And I see people tearing it down. That's our history. I don't feel ashamed of it. I don't feel one way or the other about it. That's our history. Our people have come a long way, because that's only a few lifetimes ago. And I'm thinking people look at it and don't get started with Jim Crow.
Yeah, I mean because it came to exist the way it has. People don't embrace it like we do other holidays. You're going to see the 4th of July where people out there, they're doing all kinds of wild things. They're just celebrating and doing whatever. But, with Juneteenth, really in recent history, the community started acknowledging it, and then the federal government made it a holiday. So it's kind of new. It's kind of new to our society, our community, and it's going to take some time for us to go ahead and start celebrating like we do the other holidays. But I'm glad we do need to acknowledge it, and the people that are pushing back against it, we need to educate them, because they're just a victim of propaganda and not being told the actual history of this country, because it was significant in Galveston back in 1865 when they freed the last slave. Us celebrating the 4th of July, we were still enslaved during that time of the country's independence. So it wasn't our independence. It was the country's independence, and of course, I guess white America's independence from Britain. But we weren't free at that time. And there is a time in history where we became free, and that is Juneteenth.
In Texas, from what I heard, they've been celebrating it. They've been celebrating it ever since 1865. In Texas, in some cities in Texas, now I'm from California, we didn't do it. And it's probably because a lot of us didn't know. But from my understanding, in Texas, and they've been celebrating it ever since then. They didn't need it to be, quote unquote, a holiday for them to do that. They already knew about it. They knew the history because it happened there, and so they've been celebrating it ever since then.
Well, we know one person in Texas that didn't celebrate it. ABC.
Well, you see, you told me don't talk about the coon. Don't talk about the coon. Now you bring up the coon.
I just had to make sure that we were clear that everybody in Texas didn't celebrate it, because ABC live in Texas, and he said to hell with June 19th.
Well, that's what he told you. He lived in Texas. That may or may not be true. He ain't gave you no evidence of that shit. But my only thing that got me pissed, bro, is, man, the first caller you took was a motherfucker to go against.
Well, it's just a show. It's just a conversation.
That had me hot. That had me a little hot.
We take all perspectives
we talk
over
about
here.
Juneteenth, and the first caller you take is a nigga that Tucker Carlson big left and right. And what the hell you think he gonna say about Juneteenth? Nothing good.
We take all perspectives over here. We listen to everybody's, point of view and everything,
No, I understand that. Even if you're not going to celebrate, be out waving flags and setting off fireworks, give it a nod.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a nod. That's how I look at it. Give it a nod. I don't mind it being a national holiday. I just give it a nod because those were our ancestors. And I think if the average person, black person, if they knew a lot of their roots and a lot of their history, my family, this is my mom's family and my father's family. My great on my father's side was emancipated as a child. But I think if a lot of people were to really learn a little more, especially us, I'm talking about Black Americans, if we was to learn a little bit more about our family and our history, a lot of people would be shocked how far removed they are from slavery.
Yeah.
So probably the average person is like it's 3 generations removed on my dad's side. And it's 3 generations on my dad, because they were old too, not quite as old as my mom and them family. So I never knew my great grandfather. None of people being dead, And my grandma knows, my grandmother and all, they died when I was very young. My mom's mom, but they were old when they had them. And my mom's dad and them people, they were old when they had them. So I never knew them. So a lot of people will be very surprised to find out how far black people, about how far removed. Now, if you had grandmothers, great-grandmothers having kids when they was like 16 to 17, then you knew all them people. But the average black person, you would be very surprised how far removed you are from slavery. We ain't nowhere removed. We're not even a lifetime away from Jim Crow. So, we're not even a full lifetime away from that. But you would be very surprised if you were to sit and talk to your family, if your family kept records and stuff. We just had a family reunion last weekend. I didn't go. That was my dad's side of the family. I didn't feel up to going. Well, as Tyrone, I told you last week, so I just didn't feel up to going. I had paid and everything, and I was going, but I just didn't feel up to it. And but our family has the family reunions every 2 years. We have the family records, the family books, the family this, and they pass down a lot of different things, and that's why a lot of family members did. You should see my family tree on my father's mother's side and my mom's mother's side. They have the gravestones and everything in the old family cemetery of slaves and things like that. They kept very good records. And they even had books and everything done and put together. So some families were able to pass down certain things through oral history. Like my mom's family, because the plantation and all the land was passed down to his offspring that he had, because he had nobody else to leave it to. He was getting out of Dodge after a couple of years after the emancipation. So they were able to keep pretty good records and the names and things like that. But they were able to keep pretty good records. So people would be very surprised.
Let me check this unknown caller. Who's this unknown caller?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up, Joe? Hold on for 1 second. Who's this other caller? Hello?
Hello?
Hey, who's this, Maze?
Yes.
All right, Maze. Well, so we're going to let Joe go, and then you can go after Joe, Maze. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of holidays we have came from special interest groups, like Columbus Day. And when I was a kid, we had separate holidays for Washington and Lincoln. I don't know if you remember that. And
Yes,
in
I
Mississippi, they
remember that.
still, yeah. And then in Mississippi, they still celebrate, was a Confederate, it's a Confederate holiday. They still celebrate. So, why not? I mean, when it comes down to black people, why not? Why not have our special interests be recognized? Absolutely. If you don't want to celebrate, no. But to sit and make commentary in the chat room shows, really where your heart is. So like I told ABC, I was hoping that he would celebrate with watermelon and Budweiser's with his white friends, celebrate Juneteenth, because that's what good Negroes do. They include their white friends in the picture. So, I just wanted to, say to him, I hope he had a good Juneteenth, eating pork, of course, with his white friends and drinking bud, kicking back and with the brewskis, right? So, yeah, I guess that's how he celebrated, being a good Negro and all.
All right. Maze, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hello, Tyrone and everybody.
All right.
Well, Juneteenth.
Hey, Maze. How you doing, Maze?
Hello, May.
I'm just doing fine. See, Juneteenth didn't just start just because Biden turned it into a holiday, just like the 4th of July. But June came before July, but they were celebrating before July. And they've been celebrating it, but they just got a day to celebrate it for the country and the world to know what they've been doing. So you got some people that don't want to be involved with nothing black people do, and they always say they're being used. And then some people celebrate May Day. The 1st of May, they used to do May Day. So it's a lot of history that they didn't learn in school, don't care nothing about it because it's not important with them, to them because they don't know what family is. And I really didn't know anything about Juneteenth until I was in Texas, and they have a ball. And it didn't just start this year. So if you ever went to one and you live in Texas, unless you was running away from your people and then go. So that's what's wrong with other people. And I have one thing to say, Tyrone. Will you tell the ADD man that he needs to go to bed and not stop trying to stay up all night being selfish to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning?
You call it ADD? Is that what you call it, ADD?
Yes. So he needs to get off and be normal just like you do. All you want to do is repeat yourself. Like at the end of the season, a new season starts, but he's been doing the same thing for years and years and years, repeating himself over and over and over again. So that's what I would like for him to do in celebration of Juneteenth.
That is a good name for that. That's a good name for him. Attention deficit disorder.
Thank you.
Yeah, and when you get more than one caller, people get happy. When they get maybe 2 callers, they get happy. Let them know. Yeah.
Some of them are upset because it's a holiday, but they're gonna celebrate the 4th of July for their holiday. And I guarantee you, he will be out celebrating the 4th of July. So Juneteenth is their 4th of July, and July 4th is ADD celebration. And that's when he's being used because he don't know which holiday to celebrate. So with that, I just gave my opinion, and y'all have a good one.
Hey, and Maze, check this out, Maze. There's also, in other states and things, people have things that are similar to Juneteenth and other states. If you guys want to check on that, I know that for a fact. Oklahoma, they have something. North Carolina, they have some things that are similar to Juneteenth. It may be the emancipation from Indian slavers. I found that out when I was doing research. That are some things that people celebrate, not nationally. They celebrate in those areas and things. And then I also, Sister Elisa, I looked up the 1942 deal about that thing, and it said there is a lot of issues surrounding that certain brother. I think his name was Charles Smith, said he was born in 1842. Said there's a lot of issues around that, so I'm going to have to do a lot more research about that him being
Wasn't that during
emancipated
the time of the Second World War? I'm sorry, wasn't that when the Second World War was?
Well, 1942, yeah, that's around that time. He claimed he was born in 1842. He claimed he was from Liberia. Some things I just did some cursory research on it, and it kind of have some issues on that. So, Sister Lisa, don't worry about it. I will look into it. Just take it for now as maybe not true about him being the last slave emancipated in Texas in 1942.
Well, it sounds like your Chat GPT done let you down. You've been bragging on Chat GPT.
No, Chat GPT is the one that told me that information. I found that I heard about him from somebody talking, but when I told Sister Elisa about that, I just told them what I heard, but I then Chat GPT'd it. And ChatGPT told me, "Oh yeah, this got a couple of issues with this shit." So, yeah, that's what's up.
But Tyrone, and there's something else people don't really know in history. Oklahoma was not the only Black Wall Street. They had different places that the same thing happened in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it was Rosewood, right? Rosewood.
They had one in Alabama. They had one in Alabama, they had one in Carolina, Oklahoma, and I think it was about 6 or 7 places.
Yeah. Look, in North Carolina, they controlled everything.
Yeah.
And so the whites got tired of it and
they were
destroyed it.
Yeah, they were celebrating Juneteenth back then. But you have people that don't want to know nothing about it because they tell them in, then give it to them to put in their head to think they always got to give you something. Are being used, and they're being used by them. And Trump didn't even mention the day. But when he went in that black church, supposedly black church, with them 3 black people that they had sitting around and making a fool out of them.
Yeah, see, and that's why ABC was saying. ABC was saying that black people are going towards Donald Trump and all this kind of crap. That's just propaganda. And when you mention the church, if you're black in America and you can't see that this man is putting on these stunts and propaganda, little skits to try to get your vote with his gold shoes and his prison record and all. I mean, come on. He pretended that he was in a black church and they were sitting in the pews yelling Trump, Trump, Trump. And in this damn country, you ain't gonna sit in no black person church and yell nobody name but Jesus the Christ. That's it. You ain't gonna yell Trump in no damn church.
Furthermore,
and you're also not gonna go in there and hold the Bible upside down.
No.
And once you have that Bible upside down, that represents Satanism, and no black person is going to truly follow anybody that's going to represent Satan.
Yeah, but my point is black people ain't gonna fall for Trump like that. That's all Fox News and Trump saying that shit.
Just got paid and they were being used. But he don't see that. What I'm saying they would have had to sing and then they would have to do all this stuff and they probably did him like they did Janet Reno. And she would have been like falling out in the place. And that's what he would have did. He's afraid to go inside one. And if they go to one, he need to take him inside of. I doubt if he go to one too. But anyway, why don't he just go on and find a place to take him, and then a real one, and then we'll see how his reaction.
Yeah, Tyrone, man, I think you're missing the point, brother. There's a difference between a black person and a colored person, and ABC clearly is a colored man. You know, he's not a black man.
What's a colored man?
You know?
No, he's not one of those.
What's a colored man?
Yeah, a colored man is that fantasy dude that white people always say, you know, you're one of the good ones, or you're a credit to your race. You know, that dude. You know, ABC is that dude, man. He don't raise no hell. He don't cause no trouble. You know, when the white man comes, he'll hold his head down. He'll even walk across the street so he doesn't, you know, get in the white man's way. He's a good colored man. He don't make no waves. He's a good colored man. He ain't gonna stand up to the man. He ain't gonna fight the man. No, that's not what colored people do. Colored people acquiesce. They say yes, sir, and keep it moving. Why? Because they can't afford to put their nuts on the line. So I mean, you know, he's a colored man. You know, you can appreciate that.
But Tyrone, his problem is that he's busy doing the work for him and hating his own people. And then he's saying people are being used. Those are the people that's being used, like Stephen Fetchins.
Yeah, I mean, they propaganda game. They propaganda game is strong and it's working. I can't say that it's not working because they constantly say the same thing over and over and over again, and people begin to believe it. Even though you know it's not true, they're just saying bogus bullshit over and over and over again. And it don't take that much for somebody like ABC to believe. All they got to do is say it twice, and it's true to him. You know.
Oh, but as far as black people, more and more black people turning towards Trump, because I saw CNN did a poll, but you got to get down. A lot of that's propaganda. You've got to get down into the actual numbers. And yes, it has gone up. Say if it was in certain areas, 8%, it's gone up to maybe 10%. And if it was 10%, it's gone up to maybe 12%.
Well, see, and
that they did on CNN, that was a travesty of propaganda. Those slides, and I'm not understanding why. Well, I do understand why the national media is because they're making it sound like 20 and 30 and 40%. That's not true. Yes, it has gone up, but like from people who do the overall national polls, they said maybe 2% to 3% in some areas. And yeah, they're saying that's black men more so, but the same thing was said in the 2020 election. And then after they got the exit poll, it was not true.
Black people ain't gonna vote for that, dude. And then, like you saying, if it moves a couple of percentage points, like you saying 2%, they take that number as a positive and they blow it up and they make it more than what it is. You know, okay, so it moved a little bit, but that doesn't mean that you're overturning, you know, the history of the way black people.
That's how they're trying to make it sound, and that's what that whole black church thing was. Where they tried to and the media reported it, black church, and they kept the cameras as far up to the front as they could until the truth came out later. And that's the thing. That's propaganda. It's nothing but propaganda.
But Tyrone, you know what they're doing?
What's that?
Now you're trying to say, all those ballots that they were trying to count and recounting, and all of them, like Michigan and Atlanta, they want you to think that. So, and when they're trying to cheat, that's what you'll be looking at. That's what they're doing. But they're too slow to understand that people can see that.
Well, hold on, guys. Let me let brother Joshua in.
ABC to stop typing in the chat room the stupid stuff that he don't respect women because he don't like them. So he need to zip it down.
Brother Joshua.
He don't bother me.
Joshua, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, what's going on?
What's happening?
No, I was listening, and I was listening to Howard, and he was talking about this in 1942. But there's a list of those of them. Smith wasn't the only one. There's a list. There's one. Sylvester McGee, I think I'm saying that last name right, but the way that they spelled it slightly different. But he also has the same claim. So, and then, you know, this thing of blacks being free, there were blacks who were still on the plantation working. Even after the so-called emancipation, there were blacks still on the plantations working because most of them didn't have a place to go but to the plantation. They got studies of people still being enslaved until 1963. See, and so, you know, that's something else that we have to look at. I mean, the study of slavery and this word emancipation, that needs to be revisited because there's a lot of people who were still in slavery even after the emancipation, even after Juneteenth. And Juneteenth And some of that, they showed that in Juneteenth that they wouldn't have to tell some of these black folks, y'all been free. And they were like, really? You been free? Yeah, you been free. I've been free. You know, the white folks really, you know, and some of these people still on the plantation working. You know, so that whole thing needs to be restudied, revisited, and be rewritten because they haven't told the truth about that. That, you know, black people were enslaved on up until 1963. They got records of that, of people saying that they were still slaves until 1963. You see. And let's not talk about the other places where they had slavery, like Brazil, places like that. Poor folks, your extended family in Brazil, they stayed in slavery for a long time. So, but yeah, so it's something to kind of restudy and rethink. Like I said, I think you made a good point when you said we are ashamed, and I've always said that. I've said that on ABC show. Ma'am, have a disagreement with that. I tell ABC, you're ashamed, bro. You're ashamed of black people. I tell them all the time. You know, so until we come out this of being ashamed of our history is great in America. It's not about just slavery. It's great. It's about triumph. The stuff that we did, no other folks could have pulled this off but us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, nobody else could have pulled this off but us. It was something about us that we were chosen to be in this situation because no other folks probably could have pulled this off. They couldn't have.
Joshua, some people don't want it to be great.
Yeah,
that's why that's the way they feel the way they do because they want to stay. I mean, they're still in slavery and they're still being used.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of them. Some of them problem.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I got to say to Tyrone, man. But I just happened to call and I was listening for a while, and I had to say something, especially when we talk about those blacks who was really freed and who wasn't freed. And how many blacks were still on that plantation working, even though they was free? That needs to be rewritten because there were black people still working. My grandmother used to say that there were black people still working on them plantations. My grandmother died when she was 80. My mother's mother died when she was 88. Mm-hmm. My father's mother died when she was 94. So the story that she told me was like, no. He said, I know her mother and them, her father and them, and she knew there were black people that were still working on this plantation. And was supposed to be free. And that was during the 1940s. Yeah, so that's all
okay,
I got to say, Sean.
I appreciate it. Who's this unknown caller? Who's this other caller line I just opened?
Hello?
Hello, who's this?
Oh, I'm still online.
No, I just opened somebody's line.
Oh.
Whose line is this I just opened?
Oh.
Hello?
Probably. He had...
No, ABC, he's still on the line. He's just sitting up there listening. Yeah. Him and Howard don't get along. I need to take them to group counseling or something or other.
Well, ADD need to get it together.
Okay, well, I don't know who this is. Line I just opened. You gonna speak? Or they don't want to talk. Well, go ahead, Mace.
Yes, I'm saying people like ADD. He got upset because slavery was over, and he haven't realized it yet. You know, like some of the people found out later. He still haven't found out yet. That's his problem. But he's afraid of his shadow, so I excuse it. He don't bother me. So maybe one day he'll grow up and learn and stop hating his people.
And you know, Trump might be feeding off of people like ABC that don't mind being up under the thumbs and being told what to do and all that kind of stuff. He may be feeding off those type of people because we still got some people out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, think about this, Tyrone. You know, all right, the way that the news is slanted, they make it seem like Trump is peeling off the black vote, but what they're not counting are the number of white votes that are leaving Trump So even if they got a significant number of black men, there is a way bigger amount of white folks that will not vote for Trump again. There's a way bigger amount of Republicans that basically will say, I'm voting for Biden. And those are the guys that, I don't know, what places you go, but when you get on social media and start looking at actual data, you start seeing that folks, Trump never increased his base. And you can't win without increasing your base. It stays around 30%. They're vocal, absolutely, without a doubt. But beyond all that, he has not increased his base. So all this stuff about the black men, they're vocal, they make good sound bites and all that, but it's not enough peeling off to counter the amount of white folks that are not Trumpers anymore.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's going to win, but I don't think it's going to be an easy thing for Biden either, and mainly because of his age. And I hate to put it like that, but that's just what it is. I mean, as far as policies and doing things for the country and getting the country on the right track, our foreign relationships, I think Biden is doing a great job and all of that kind of stuff. But the perception is that whenever you got an older person, they're not all there. You know what I mean? That's why we have retirement ages in this country. That's why we have Social Security. Whenever you get a certain age, you're supposed to go somewhere and sit down, and not run the country. And unfortunately for President Biden, his age is going to give him a big hit when it comes to people's decision.
I don't think.
Go ahead.
But I think when it comes to people's decision, they're gonna look at Steve Bannon and all those crooks around Trump. That's what they're gonna be looking at.
No, I'm saying that we're in a society that was programmed, that has been told that once you get a certain age, you're supposed to do a certain thing. That and that they don't have anything with politics. That's why we have like senior citizen discount and all this kind of stuff. Because when you get a certain age in this society, you're not supposed to be able to do certain things. And unfortunate for Joe Biden, he's the president and he's 80 years old. And that's that age to where, you're supposed to be getting free coffee. You're not supposed to be running the country. And a lot of us, a lot of Americans looking at that as a nick on Joe Biden,
There's a lot of them that hate what he's doing because a lot of them don't like the things he's doing. People like ADD and his friends, they don't like it. And some of them don't think he should have ran, but he did. And because he got Kamala behind him, some people don't like that either.
Well, who's this other call I just opened?
What's going on?
What's up, Jay?
So, and then you get the media, they all got the same talking points where they pass the letter down and this one all day long and do it all day long. And this crime is what they're running on. And they the biggest criminals it is in the country.
All right, so this other person...
That was my bad. I walked away, bro.
So I'm finished. I got to go.
That's Big OC.
ADD, go to bed.
ADD.
Oh, but Tyrone.
Go ahead.
Tyrone, can I say this? I just want to ask. Yeah, you're right about.
I don't know. Seniors are going to come out.
Being a hindrance, it is. But I think in this election, I don't think it's going to be that much of a hindrance for him. Because I would vote for his car. I would vote for his coffin before.
I'm going to vote for him, but I'm just saying the way that we have been told about seniors.
Yeah. But Biden, he's not just 80. He's 81. He's a very old looking and a very old moving.
Yeah.
81. He is. Because there's not much difference between him and Trump's age. Trump look a fool and he's in decline too. But Biden is just like, it's like he looks like he can barely move. He's too old to be president. But I don't care. I vote for his shoes in a coffin before, and I don't like Biden. But I would vote for his shoes sitting up in a coffin. They say, and Biden coffin up there, he's about to jump in. That's who I'm voting for. And you want to know why? Because a lot of people don't like Kamala, but you still got Kamala. And if they have a good team, they can keep it running to the next election. That's just how I look at it.
Yeah, Kamala got a bad rap from a lot of Americans. They was taking these conspiracies about her and her judicial record, and they was spreading that like wildfire. And I seen one I don't know where it was. It was like a little YouTube short or something where Charlemagne the God, I don't like that guy. I think that he's a freaking sexual abuser. But Charlemagne the God came out and apologized to Kamala Harris and said that all the stuff,
Allegedly.
yeah, all the stuff that he was saying about her and her record wasn't true. And I seen him sitting on the stage apologizing to it. I was like, well, what's really going? I didn't find out whether it was true or not, but I remember that when All Facts and them was calling in and all that kind of stuff, they were saying how Kamala Harris was out there when she was in her position. I forgot what she's a state attorney or something like that. Whatever she was locking up black people and all that kind of stuff. And he was saying that none of that stuff wasn't true. So I think Kamala Harris is a good person. And they do make a good team.
She's capable of doing the job. She's capable of getting it done. She has a good team around her. I don't see any problems or anything. I think she's quick. I wasn't in her corner when she was running her election, but she's capable to do the job. She's qualified to do the job. She has a good team, a good administration. It'll be just like any other administration. But
Right.
Trump is a dumbass. He is a dumbass. He is not qualified to be president, and he's also a convicted felon. He's been found guilty for civil liability for sexual assault. And we can keep going. He got all these other trials and things coming up. So Kamala is a better candidate than Trump. And then the Washington Post, they had an article this past weekend, I think the other day or past weekend, about people were saying he need to replace Kamala with Hillary. Y'all really want to lose the election, you do that.
Yeah, Hillary. I think Hillary is a good politician, but she's done and she need to go sit down.
She was too confident. I think.
Yeah,
Hillary Clinton, I
She
despise
didn't listen.
her.
She was
And
arrogant.
if they want to give the election away, bring on Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose with that. They're gonna lose with that.
With Hillary Clinton. Yes, they lose with Hillary Clinton.
I don't know. I think Hillary does got a base. I think someone will come in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. But I real quick, guys, say what you got to say, Yashua.
Now, can I be heard?
No, I was going to say, as far as Trump is
Can I be heard?
Yeah, you on Big OC?
Huh? No, I actually wanted to ask Yashua a question. This is
Oh, that's
Anthony,
not Big
man.
OC. That's Anthony. I'm sorry.
I walked away. Yeah, I wanted to know, like, what happened in 1963 that ended slavery, bro? Like, when did it end in 1963, you say?
No,
What happened that year?
There's a historical account of people still being enslaved on up until 1963.
Illegally, right? Not legal, right?
Right, So no.
Illegally, right?
Illegally, yeah.
No, legally or illegally?
Illegally.
Okay.
So yeah. But what I was going to say about Trump, I mean, this is my thing. The guy got 34 counts. Okay.
But be
now,
clear, 34 counts felonies. We gotta be
Felony.
clear. We gotta let it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say 34 counts of what? He got felonies. 34 felony.
Right. 34
fucking
right.
former president.
So my point is this: what black man that got 34 felonies and walking the streets of America and out walking the streets? Even if they think you did a crime as a black man, your black ass is going to jail. Even if they think you did a crime. In some cases, our exoneration rate for black males and black women is so damn high here in America. It's really it's shameful. The exoneration rate of black males doing 30 and 40 years for a crime he didn't commit. Here's a guy that got 34 counts, felonies. And if this is not the idea of white privilege, and I keep telling folks, he's not going to jail because he's a white male, and he represents their white supremacy in the sense of him being a rich white man. He represents that. He ain't going to jail. But it's just to show people like, wow, this thing called white privilege is really real. because there's no way in hell a black man or a black woman that got 34 felonies that they want to continue to let him or her run for president. That's not happening. It's really a slap in the face to every felon who can't get a job because he's a felon. They tell felons, if you got a job, in most cases, some felons can't get a job. They can't get out the fact they're a felon. Some felons are lucky enough to get the court or the judge to expunge that felon off their record. Some are lucky enough to get it done, but for the most part, most of them can't get that felony record off their record. But here's the guy.
Hey, Tyrone. Hey, I got one. Hey, Tyrone. What port? Which port is that on that picture, bro? Is that Alabama?
Bro, shit, I don't know. It's on the History Channel. I don't know what port that is, bro.
All right. So
Yeah, sure.
let's go back to this.
If you can remember, I don't know if you were here then, but in Delaware they had, I believe it was a DuPont who raped a 3-year-old child. And I believe it was his child, but that doesn't matter. But, you know, in that court case, the judge said he was too rich, too white to go into prison. So he did not get a prison sentence.
Right. I believe it. I believe it. The DuPont, but they got a history of screwing each other. Literally.
Yeah,
DuPont
they
family.
do.
Well, hold on for a minute. Since Ant on the line, Ant was a big old Trump supporter. Ant, so since Donald Trump got those 34 felonies, wait a minute, hold on. Let me get the question out. Can I please get the question out? Since Donald Trump got those 34 felonies, do you still feel the same way about him politically that you did before the 34 felonies?
I'm not going down that rabbit hole, bro.
Well,
you called in the show to have a conversation. You're clearly on the phone. Your phone is up to your ear, and we're having a conversation.
How you just gonna throw me out there? I don't have to respond to that, man. You gotta wait until Sarge is on here.
Anthony, you cut me off, bro.
I already know that's a rabbit hole argument, man. I'm not trying to.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering how you felt since. I was just wondering how you felt after the convictions, after the felonies, after this. I was just wondering if you feel the same thing about his Black Plan for America and all that kind of crap that you was pushing.
I mean, the way a lot of black people think, they would probably, support him even more because that's some gangster shit. That nigga a criminal.
Come on, man. No, come on.
Yeah, listening to you, I just got. I at least
black people think, bro.
I at least got 40%. I at least got 40% dumber by listening to that response.
Right.
Go ahead,
I mean, that's cool, but there are people that they don't look down. Like the people, you political guys you got to be politically correct. You got to. I mean, America is a gangster as a whole. Like why? I mean, the president or the former president is a gangster or a criminal. Like it's really not a big deal in America, bro, because that's what America is based on: gangsterism.
Well,
that's how America was built, right?
You're the reason that Donald Trump filled a black church with white people.
I mean, I don't even want to take that argument, bro. You throwing me out there, bro. I'm just responding to it, bro. But that's not my argument, man.
Well, look,
but
we finished.
What I wanted to say about.
Go ahead, Joshua.
No, I was going to say what Internet was saying about the DuPont. The DuPont family in Delaware was a rich family, right? They were the founding families of Delaware, okay? What happened was that they have a history of incest, in that family. They have a history of
they do.
They slept with each other in order to keep the money in the family. They literally believe that if they keep the money in the family, is to have children
and
with
keep
each
their
other.
bloodline. Yes.
Right. And so what they did, they built a school called AI DuPont. And that school was for their children who had birth defects. That's what it was for.
No, that was the hospital. That was the hospital.
Right, yeah, the hospital, the lady, I'm sorry, that got turned into
The children's
a
hospital.
school.
Yeah.
Right, they turned into a school. And so, and the kids that went, that went to AIU Park, they say they still got stuff there that shows them that where they had these deformed children in. They still got stuff there.
Yeah, that was the Alfred DuPont. Alfred I.
Right. Yeah. So it's crazy. So but it's just to show you in this country, white males don't go to jail for doing some of the shit that they do. You know, especially white men like Donald Trump. You know, I mean, 34 counts of felonies and 2 or 3 sexual assaults. Come on, man. I mean, come on. I mean, really, y'all? I mean, you really got. I don't. I mean, hear about Donald Trump. I don't like Donald Trump, but I called it for what it is, man. This guy got some issues, you know, and the stuff that he did. This guy has some issues, and he's high and mighty, and he's not going to jail, and he's going to run for president. That's deep.
Tyrone.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, Yahshua and to a lot of other people, when we as black people say, if it was a black man, he would be locked up, he would be this. If it was a black woman, he would be locked up. If it was a brown man, that's a given. I think, though, when we say things like that, it would be better, we would make more of a statement by saying, if it was any race of man in the United States who is not rich and white and probably Anglo-Saxon, because see, the thing that we keep living out, we keep leaving out when we say if it was a black man, if it was a this, that's true. But we live under white male patriarchy. It's their patriarchy, their rules, and of course they have privilege. That's how they set it up that way. So if I just argue, when I discuss this, I don't say if it was a black man or if it was a black woman, that's a given. We live under we live at the behest of white male patriarchy. And that is supposed to be something we're supposed to be trying to tear down, regardless of which tools that we use. It's their patriarchy, their rules. That's why we got to get rid of it. So of course, if they select a rich white Anglo-Saxon or Protestant, they're going to get away with whatever they want to. It's their patriarchy.
Yeah,
You're a regular
right.
white man. No, there is no ifs, ands, buts. If you are a regular white man and you are middle class, you ain't getting away with that either. If
but my point was this.
If you are an Asian man, you're not getting away with that either. But a rich, white, Protestant, or Anglo-Saxon, they will. It's their patriarchy. And we keep forgetting that. We live at the behest of their patriarchy. And that is what has to be torn down.
I think that's America.
Right, but my point is that, 1 second, Jay. No, but my point was not so much of what I said about them being white, etc. But my point is that even with what you're saying, and I'm agreeing with you, but even what you're saying, my point is that they tell the average felon. They tell the average felon here in America. Now, if this America, we really, if it's a real America, we should be under no patriarchy, period. White, black, or whatever. We shouldn't really be under any of that, period. So I'm saying that the contradiction. So the contradiction comes in as this, that we tell young men, if you have a felon, that you can't vote, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do. Here's the guy that got 34 felonies. So I would think our government would say, well, damn, this is really a contradiction to what this country is supposed to stand for, and punishing and continue the process of punishing criminals, which I think is stupid. But that's just what they do. But here's the guy that's a criminal, and you're not punishing him. you're giving examples to say, hey guys, you guys got something, but your felony is going to count, but this guy is not going to count. That's the hypocrisy in this country.
But down the road, that'd be a good argument in court now, though.
Well, you're and Lisa making the same point, except but she's putting emphasis on, Donald Trump is really getting away, because of this system was designed for him to get away in it. That's just
bingo.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. That is what it is.
Yeah,
So,
there are
when
loopholes.
I discuss that, I never say a black man. The white dude that lived down the corner from me, middle class, doing well, got a family, his ass going to prison too. Because you also have to remember.
I didn't say he wasn't going to jail. That's my point.
And what also is mixed up in this is classism as well.
Well, yeah, but I didn't say that the average white guy that has a son wouldn't go to jail. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is far too often, far too often that we see this. But this is so blatant. It's in front of us. Now, I mean, if we study criminality between white males and black males and criminality, there's a difference. But that's a whole different conversation. But at the same time, this is blatantly right in our face, and it's like, damn, this is deep. This dude got 34 felonies.
And
they let this bastard, they let me run for office. He sexually assaulted a woman inside of a goddamn dressing room. I thought that was funny. He thought it was funny. That was fun for him.
Well, let me get. I think that was Mama's Boy, but let me say this right here. Everything that we see in happen today, we talked about all of this on this show years ago when we was warning people about white privilege. We was warning people about the dangers of religion. We was warning people about how white society can just get away with anything. And I remember having conversations about there's nobody above the law. And we even had conversations about, well, that's true up until, you get into a position to where you can manipulate the laws. And that's exactly what Donald Trump did. People got mad with me when I said that Constitution wasn't nothing except for another doctrine, just like the Bible, to be manipulated. And we're watching all of that stuff come to fruition. So everything that we seeing right now, we've had these conversations on the show before. But Mama's Boy, welcome to the show. How you doing? Ain't that you? Who's that?
I don't know. Jay, maybe.
Who?
Well, let me say while. Let me take a moment while I was going to speak earlier. As much as this country says that they don't like, Joe Biden and all that, I mean, I think it's hypocrisy and contradictions. Most of the people in this country that are the big ballers, the billionaires, are old white men. If you start looking at the lineage of who's running what, yes, you got some new CEOs that are in their 40s and 50s and, okay. But there's most of the people like the guy that owns Fox News, right? Rupert Murdoch and all the people that own those big corporations, the mega companies. I'm not talking about these new, Amazon and Tesla and all that. Nah, I'm talking about companies that have been here for years. Like if you start looking at the bank system, the people that do, the biggest financial companies and people that have the biggest money in this country are mostly old white people. And government is the same shit. Most of the people that we're complaining about is older white people that are there for years and, insanely they can't get things done, right? Because they're moving slow. But we don't complain enough to get their ass removed. I'm not saying us specifically, but us in general as America, right? They let them in there, they keep on letting them, and they got a stronghold. Another thing is that with this senior stuff, as we complained, right? Older people, again, controlling most of the stuff. We don't like what they're doing. They don't like Joe Biden. I just said that they really could have pretty much everything. So, for older people that we say, seniors and all that, they're still running most of the shit. They might not be they trying to get rid of them in the job market, and have young people for certain reasons, but if you look at it, it's fairly old. So what I wanted to say, now it came back. Seniors, I think, are gonna support. They say that the seniors are the ones that vote mostly in this country, right? So I believe that seniors are not going to look at their fellow senior Biden and say, oh, well, he's too old. No, we're going to support him. Yes, there's some seniors that are going to be like, he is too old. He's around my age. I'm retired. But then you have some people that say, you know what, that's like me feeling old. Well, I could still do something. I could run the, country. People's motivation or like the kind of feeling that they get, like, nah, I see somebody that's around my age doing his thing. He's still vibrant. Yeah, he's not going to be running marathons or, out trying to outdo somebody that's young. He's an older man, but is his brain working? Does he have people around him that can tell him, when he's messing up, and also make sure that they correct the situations before they become a big problem? I think that he does have people, as long as that he has young people around him as well, to keep him up to date and let him know, like, listen, this is what's going on in the young world. You might be, yes, overall looking out for the older people and stuff like that, or, coming from an older perspective, but, having insight with what's going on in the younger generation, so there's no disconnect. But I believe that seniors that mostly vote here in this country they're gonna support Biden. There's going to be some seniors that supporting Donald Trump. And I would say those are the insane ones you need to worry about. There are insane elders here and insane seniors, but you also have some insane young people, too, that are falling. Like, you would have thought that they were like 100 and something years old with their brain working the way working at 30-something years old. And you're like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So I just say this, that seniors are going to be a big piece to the pie. There's going to be some that will vote for Donald Trump. I say those are the insane seniors that you are talking about. The ones that have lost their mind, you can tell them anything. They're buying infomercials and products online and getting scammed on. I hate getting scammed over and over and over and over. Getting giving donations and doing all type of shit that you like. Yeah, they bugged out. They done lost their head. Giving money away to people, not taking care of their own family, talking about stuff and not knowing the points of it, just because you're like a fanatic of a person. No, I'm a fan of him because I like the way he talks. But then you have seniors that have brains, and I got to give credit. I'm not going to say that all older people, because you're in the outside, you're getting wrinkled, or the sun is, you've been around, so the sun is you're aging. But your brain is as aged to the point where you can't think, or you're not logical, or you're not sharp. There's some people that lose their mind later in life, and some people that lose it earlier. So I just say that we got to keep that in consideration. You have young people that are insane, just like senior citizens. You say, wait, who did they trade bodies, or is the mind, brain, something happened there? So again, Donald Trump, that's a couple of years younger, which he's a senior himself, but is younger than Joe Biden, is much more insane than Joe Biden. I mean, it's clear. Joe Biden is slower. Donald Trump, he probably got a hit of something. We found out that in the White House that was taking pills and all type of shit. He's on an upper pill, prescribed, drug that is legal, something that's getting him up and amped up and crazy, or maybe he has that natural bug in his head, but the man is insane. And okay, all that energy for what? To destroy something or to create something is my question. You can have all that energy and hype up everybody, but then what is the end result? What are we getting out of it? Are we getting excitement and entertainment and we go back home and then we still got the problems that we have? Or he's going to resolve some problems? I say he's in the entertainment field. He's going to make me feel happy for a couple of minutes. I'm going to laugh, joke, and go right back home, and I still got to deal with the world and what's going on. He is not the person to be in a position to make jokes, jump around, make us laugh, and then we got to deal with the shit that he's really thinking about and as an insane person. think the man is qualified to be a comedian and not a president.
You're indirectly campaigning though, Jay.
Well, I'm campaigning. Vote for Joe Biden if you don't think, if you have a fucking brain. How about that? If you a dumb motherfucker and you stupid and you're insane or you got mental problems, vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah, that shaming tactic. Yeah, you can hear it.
No, this is nothing to take personal. I'm saying if you have a mental issue because you don't make I have one or two people in my family that got mental issues. Listen, I got family and friends, some that are crazy, outright
It doesn't
crazy.
make you crazy, bruh. That's your
Guess
opinion.
what? Guess what? Their brain might not be functioning like the average normal person. That's all I'm saying. So just do what you're gonna do. But if you have a sane brain and you can think, and you don't want to be lose more of your rights in this country, you know the obvious.
It's paranoia, man.
All right, so you're not paranoid, Anthony? Is that what you're saying? And that's what I was trying to get you into a conversation before, is because you come on here and you share your perspective before the felonies, and then now after the felonies, you kind of quiet.
I mean, it's never been my argument, bruh.
Didn't you tell us that Donald Trump had a plan for black people, and that
was then, bro. Like, what?
That was then.
So what is it now?
What do you mean?
What is it now? Is you still got the same idea?
The plan. How about
If
that?
black people would have got on board, who knows?
No, what happened with the plan? Did he ever execute it? What
Why
happened with the plan?
Why would he? Black people shitted on
Why
it.
would he? That was what he said. No. It's not about nobody. Black people shit on. He's supposed to do the job for America. That's the whole point. Whether
About
he likes
America,
us
it
or
was
not.
about black Americans. It wasn't about the whole America. It was about black Americans.
All right, so I guess you done turned against Donald Trump now. That's what I'm going to assume.
That's what you want me to do, right?
I don't know. I don't give a shit what you do. I'm just assuming I just want to know what your position is now compared to what it was before.
You can argue this better than me, bro. Call in, man.
Huh? All right.
I'm good.
Yeah, Jay. I agree with you. And what I have seen happening is that generation called the baby boomers. People give that generation a lot of credit. They call it the greatest generation and all that kind of stuff. But the greatest generation been screwing up this country when it comes to the financial and economic situation.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones buying up all the houses. They're the one that's on Wall Street. They're the one that's got all the property, all the real estate, and they're not, investing back into this country. And whenever it comes to politics, those are those seniors that you're looking at, that baby boomer era person that is kind of promoting Donald Trump. And the evangelical, they're the ones that's screwing up this damn country. And they supposed to be the greatest generation. Those seniors there are just screwed, and they're the ones that's raising these younger people to support Donald Trump. And then you got your rednecks that hasn't participated in politics before. The poor white people that really didn't participate in politics. Donald Trump has motivated those people to come out and show up at rallies with their brown teeth and all of that. I mean, he's actually motivated the racists in this country to come out and participate in politics, and that's what you're looking at. Donald Trump base as that's what that 30% is.
I think he just ran game on him, dog.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't see a problem.
But
with that, bro.
the solution is, or would have been, if they would have held these white people that broke the law accountable when they broke the law. When Roger Stone broke the law, he should be in jail. When Steve Bannon broke the law, he should be in jail. When Donald Trump broke the law, he should have got impeached and kicked out of office. But white America, this system is not holding these people accountable. So what that allows them to do is say, okay, so since I got away with it this time, I can get away with it again. They ain't gonna do nothing to me. That's what you've seen the evolution of Tucker Carlson is. As Tucker Carlson got more and more radical, and nobody didn't hold him accountable, he got more and more radical, and that's why you see him get kicked off of Fox News eventually, because he kept pushing that envelope because nobody was holding him accountable. And that's go ahead.
It was never about locking him up though. It was all about the election, man. They just wanted to kill his credibility more.
No,
That's
what I'm saying though is whenever you break the law, Anthony, you will get held accountable. If you go out there in your car right now and speed, you will get held accountable. Donald Trump broke the law numerous times, and nobody held him accountable. You get what I'm saying?
Well, he's gonna have a problem getting elected, bro. That killed his credibility even more. That was the point, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that's how it happens. That's how they do with everybody or everything, right? I mean, if you have a fucked up record, then I mean, if they didn't have nothing to talk about, then he got a clean record. But that's not the case.
Well, look at John. What was his name? John Edwards that was down here. Soon as he used violated campaign laws, he couldn't run no more because he was screwed up. You know, people held him accountable. They got him off the campaign trail. When Donald Trump screwed up,
he almost went to jail.
Yeah, they boosted him up more. They didn't hold him accountable. Donald Trump should have been off the campaign trail with that Access Hollywood tape. Whenever he was talking about violating women and grabbing them by the genitalia, that should have been it for Donald Trump. But because the previous president was Barack Obama, they needed a strong white male figure, and the only person that they could turn to was Donald Trump, because he was in the lead. He was popular and people liked him, so they just kept promoting this guy. And then the more they promoted him, they seen how screwed up he was. Oh, by the way, he slept with a porn star. Oh, by the way, he slept with another porn star. Oh, by the way, he paid the doorman off to keep his mouth shut. Oh, by the way, he's been stealing money from charities. You know, the more they propped him up, the more they found out about this fucking fraud, man. And they just going down this rabbit hole of supporting this fucking fraud.
What year did he sleep with the porn star? Because if we can go back on him, we can go back on Biden as well, right?
Okay, so did Biden sleep with a porn star?
No, but we can talk about that 90s crime bill, though.
Okay, that's Howard's conversation. And Howard actually came up with a good rebut for that. That 90s crime bill was actually initiated by Ronald Reagan. So,
I get it. It was under his watch, but Biden was leading the rush though to get it passed.
No, if the crime bill already existed,
y'all throw black people under the bus saying they wanted the shit, being disingenuous, knowing that they wanted it, but they didn't think it was gonna happen like that.
If the crime bill already existed, the next administration, all they did was reinforce it. So
that's what
whenever
Biden
you
did.
say Biden them came up with it, that's just not true. It was Ronald Reagan.
I get he was under. Yeah, I know who was the president. He was the president at the time. I get that, but Biden, he was the one leading the rush, bro. That's
no, he wasn't leading. The shit already existed. But the Clinton, you know, there was the Reagan administration, and then it was the listen. Let me teach you. It was the Reagan administration, then it was the Clinton administration, right? The Reagan administration, they came up with the I think it was the Crime Act, and then the Clinton administration came up.
He was under Clinton.
Who?
That 94 crime bill was under Clinton.
That's what I'm getting to. Before that, it was Reagan had already came up with a crime bill that the Clinton administration doubled down on. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. But what I'm saying, when you talk about that crime bill, like Biden comes up, bro. He's the main one. Come on, bro. Like, come on, man. Don't be disingenuous.
And then you got to look at what was going on.
Hold on, you see what you did there, though, bro? You can go back to when he. What year did he become porn star? What year? In the 80s? What year was it?
In the 80s.
I don't know. But what's your point? I mean, the point is that we got two. Hold on. See, this is how the conversation gets thrown off, and I fell for it. See, we're talking about two people who's running for office right now: Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And you don't want to talk about the issues at hand. You want to? I'm talking about shit that Donald Trump did. I'm talking about the shit that Donald Trump.
Go back to the 80s and hold it against him, bro.
Listen, last week Donald Trump got 34 fucking felonies.
With the porn star, though?
Listen, last week or 2 weeks ago, Donald Trump got 34 felonies. 2 weeks ago, Joe Biden didn't get no damn 34 felonies. That's what I'm talking about. You understand?
I want to know what year did he sleep the porn star?
Events.
I don't know. Go look up the porn star. Shit.
2006. But that wasn't the crime was not
Right.
sleeping with
I
Stormy
know it was
Daniels
a
in
crime,
2006.
but Tyrone is holding that against him. Is what
No,
I'm
I'm
saying.
holding against him when he ran for
No.
office and lied to the people and hid from the people that actually happened. He actually used his campaign money to pay people off to keep them quiet. I don't give a shit what he did in 2006. I don't give a shit what he did in 2006. I do care about what he told the people about what his past was in his presidency, in his candidacy. So he lied about that.
Hey, Tyrone,
And
this the thing.
when he was running for president, so the crime was committed. When? 2000, was it 17?
2016, whenever that was, he was
Current
running.
events.
Yeah, when he committed the crime, when he was running for
Current
president.
events.
Him sleeping with a porn star, who cares? Who cares?
We didn't even care about
Right.
that.
Tyrone brought that up. Right. He brought
Right.
it up.
My money.
It's more the fact that if Donald Trump would have used his own money to sleep with the porn
Don't
star,
use my money.
right, nothing would have been said. But the point is that he lied about using campaign funds. That's what made it a crime.
And hiding it at that.
And hide it. That's the problem, Anthony.
That was the crime.
That's
That
some
was the
gangster
crime.
shit, though, bro. I don't know, bro. That's what gangsters are gonna go to.
Well, the point is every other person that run for president got to put their record out there and let us know about who they are, right? Donald Trump used his money to pay off a doorman, to pay off that McDougal lady, to pay off Stormy Daniels, to keep the American people from knowing what his actual history was. The fact that he slept with a porn star while he was married. If you're running for the presidency as a Republican, the party of family values, that would have significant impact on the people who's voting for you. He hid that from the country. And you got some fool in the chat room named Kelly Ray talking about it's the silliest 34 counts. Well, Kelly Ray, you about to be an idiot because you had a usurper as fucking president. You had somebody that was not qualified to run for goddamn president or even be the goddamn president, pull you by the goddamn nose and goddamn trick your ass for 4 goddamn years. And you so stupid that you can't even see that you was lied to. And that's all the fuck we saying. This motherfucker's a liar.
Why y'all gotta call people stupid though if they don't?
That shit was called.
Because what other word would you use for somebody who not acknowledging what the fuck is in front of their face, Anthony?
Ignorant. I would be okay with ignorant.
Okay, well, ignorant. Okay, Kelly Ray, I didn't mean to call you stupid. I'm calling you ignorant. So you guys are ignorant then. Yeah, I agree with you. It's ignorance.
Yeah, but you know what? That shit's funny because
Ray Kelly, the
Donald
commissioner
Trump.
for New York.
Jay, I was just saying, you can imagine Donald Trump trying to get on top of the porn star.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I don't know. Just like Joshua and Elisa was talking about earlier, anybody else with those type of charges and those type of history would not even qualify. Right now, Donald Trump can't even get a fucking security clearance, y'all. Do y'all realize that? He, as a felony, he can't get a security clearance. How the fuck is he gonna be president?
Yeah, and don't get it twisted. I'm not voting for either of them two. I'm voting for Cornel West if he can get on the ballot.
Okay, well, see, now we got to talk about your level of ignorance now. You throwing away your vote, Joshua. You throwing away your vote.
I'm voting for my man Cornell.
Nah, man. Don't tell people that. Don't tell me that.
Tyrone. Look, Donald Trump can't even vote. He can't even vote for himself.
Right.
In New York.
A felon can't vote. A felon can't vote.
Well, it's on the state. It's on the state. It's on the state, Antoinette. Yeah. It all depends on what the state says.
Florida, not New York.
But that's weird though. What's gonna happen with his foreign policy though if he can't? I don't get that. What's gonna happen with that?
But what we're trying to tell you is that he's not supposed to be there. We're not even supposed to be having this conversation.
But I'm saying hypothetically, he get elected again.
He ain't gonna
How
win.
is that gonna work?
This shit is all new, Anthony. It's all new because you got a white motherfucker running for president with power. And they're changing the rules as we go. So all of this shit is new.
With 34 felonies.
So I don't know.
That was your moment to teach me hypothetically. Go ahead.
Oh, John Edwards. I think it was 2008.
He almost went to jail.
And he had lied. John Edwards. He had lied about having an affair. And then when it came out that he really did have it, he announced later that he had a child with the woman. But that took out his whole presidential candidacy. He was just running, and that took him out. And he didn't commit any crime. He was just lying about it.
Yeah, he was on the Appalachian Trail or wherever the hell he's.
He was just lying.
He
didn't even commit any crimes, and that the people he was gone. That took out his whole presidential campaign, and he didn't commit any crimes.
And Howard Dean, when Howard Dean was running for president, all he said was "yeehaw." He said that was it for him.
Like that.
That took him out with a yeehaw.
You gotta pick one. You gotta pick one, Tyrone. Who was the better president?
Barack Obama was the greatest president in American history. I ain't afraid to say that. Hands down.
Well, it was multiple choice. Don't worry about it though.
Well, okay, what was the multiple choice?
Don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, hands down, man. That dude, he showed his ass when he got up there, man.
Yeah, he went in with the LGBT community. He helped them out a lot.
So you just gonna forget about you so it just slipped your mind how when George Bush left the fucking presidency, America was spiraling into this fucking deficit and the economy was crashing.
War.
All of that bullshit. Yeah, there was a war going on, and Barack Obama walked in and he corrected all of that shit so much, so good that he handed Donald Trump a fucking excellent economy that he rode off of, and he's still taking credit for Barack Obama's economy. I mean, Barack Obama did his shit, man. I don't know what else to tell you.
But look at the Trump status for the homosexual status for Trump. And Trump taking a picture with him.
Trump sexuals.
Well, if Trump's worried about homosexuals, how many fucking gay people have Stormy Daniels slept with? I mean, it's just he don't give a shit about that stuff. You guys are crazy tripping on this homosexual stuff. Homosexual stuff shouldn't even be a political issue. Leave them people alone.
It is, bro. He came in.
He doesn't care about that either. And that's the big fool. That's the big lie he's fooling you all about. When he does all of this stuff about the transgenders and the this and that. His beauty pageant, what was it, Miss USA?
Oh, yeah.
He was the first, Miss Pageant was the first to say he would allow transgenders. Trump doesn't care about these things that y'all talking about. Anything to do with the LGBTQ plus IA. He doesn't care about that. He's not against these people. He has you all thinking that he is on the same page as you all when it comes to that. He does it. Just like abortion. The man was pro-choice until he ran for president. He wanted transgenders to be in beauty pageants. He felt that they should have the same rights as other. So, I mean, when y'all bringing this stuff up, talking about Barack Obama, Trump was even more so for that stuff than Barack Obama was.
Well, Lisa, remember when he was with Giuliani when Giuliani was dressed as a woman?
He doesn't care about that stuff.
No, he doesn't.
They was throwing air kisses. They were throwing air kisses to each other too. That was weird.
I think y'all didn't catch the play though.
Like why you throwing air kisses?
Not like us, bro. Like Obama. It's not like. But that was the play he played, y'all. He came.
Listen, okay, so let's say Obama was a gay supportive president. How did that hurt you?
Swagger, and you know how you can appeal.
I'm asking you a question. How did it hurt you that?
Not how he grew up, bro. The niggas just.
I'm asking you, how did it hurt you that Barack Obama supported the gay community?
Didn't hurt me.
I mean, him coming on, bro. It was all about that black swagger. I'm cool. I'm black, and we thought we had us one.
No, you thought you had you one. I thought I had a president.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, but at the same time, like, if he was one of us, that was our opportunity to get a leg up, bro.
Okay, so he is one of us. He is one of us.
Gay
but he's not no damn black conscious Hebrew Israelite. If that's what you're
How
looking
is
for.
he?
He's not.
No, he's
So-
not black.
And
He's
a lot
not
of people,
black American.
and a lot of
His mother,
and y'all
he's
forget
not black
Barack
American.
Obama.
His mother is white. And his dad is not American.
He's just as he's more American than any. He's just as American as anybody on this phone. He's a mixed race American.
He's not
get the
he's not a
fuck
black
outta here.
American like me and you, nigga.
He's a mixed race American. What the fuck? God damn.
Yeah, how did he get here?
So you okay? So let's take this conversation down a rabbit hole. Are you saying that America only has two races, black and white? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying
Okay,
black
what are you saying?
Americans are their own race.
Okay, so he's a mixed race American. Can you agree with that?
I'm not saying he's not an American. I'm saying he's not black American like us.
I don't know what the fuck. He's American. And that's good enough. for me.
Okay, I agree with you.
And Tyrone, can I add
But
this?
he's not black American.
His wife is. His wife was a slave descendant. Yeah, you're on, Miss Elisa. Oh, and Michelle Obama passed away. You know, I don't know if y'all knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But go ahead, Elisa.
Yeah, she did pass. But Barack Obama did when I didn't care for his answers when he was doing the interview with Ta-Nehisi Coates. But he had said out of his mouth, I am not a descendant of American slavery. I'm not a descendant of that. And he said, but my wife and my children and my wife's family, they are. But another thing, when Barack Obama first started running for president, he was against gay marriage. He came out of his mouth and said that.
Him and Joe
that
Biden.
marriage should be between a man and a woman. He said that too. And then when it looked like it was going to cut him back, and he said a lot of talking and this and that with Michelle, I had grown. And I was wrong for that. But he was against that when he first came out running for president. He was. And people ignored that. So he probably was talking some of that same stuff y'all was talking.
Yeah. Hey, Tyrone. You know the bad thing with Obama is what I didn't like about his president. It wasn't the fact that he was the president. I just liked the fact how they treated his wife. I thought that was despicable with how they treated Michelle. I said, what the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, they were calling her a transgender woman, said she was a man. I'm like, and this has come from other black people.
Yep.
That's the most insulting. Yeah, this was coming from other black folks. And that was the most insulting thing to me. You know, somebody showed me, I was at work, they showed me a picture of Michelle, and they pointed at her crotch area, and they said, what's that? I said, what the fuck? I said, what?
Disrespect.
I'm like, you know, and so she was trying to allude to the fact that she was a transsexual because I disagree with her. But she that person stopped speaking to me. She stopped talking to me. And she wouldn't even speak to me no more because I disagree with her. I said, that's some silly stuff that you're into. Silly. That's a woman. She's a wholesome woman. That's what she is.
Well, and to be honest with you, that's probably what bothered white America the most is that they did have a slave descendant as the first lady of the United States of America. That probably burned them up.
And that too, yeah. And again, you know, Michelle was attractive. She's very attractive. You know, and like I said, she was all woman, and she's probably the finest woman who's been in the White House, period. She's probably the finest first lady of all time. And they could not stand that at all.
Yeah,
okay, now.
And Melania Trump, I don't know if y'all have seen that audio going around on social media, but whenever she made her speech as the first lady, she copied Michelle's speech word for word.
Yes, she did.
Right,
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
Because she got in trouble. There was a thing about that.
I think her people set her up. I have to be honest about that. Melania didn't write no speech. Her people, she was set up, and they did that, and she read and she learned, memorized the speech. Her people, she got set up. I don't care that she did, but she got set up.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I see. That's the bad, tragic part about Obama's presidency, the fact that they disrespected Michelle so much. On all fronts, they were disrespected. I'm like, really? I said, Really? I mean, come on now. But that's what they did. You know, and I didn't like all Barack. I didn't like all of his policies, but when he got in the White House, he ran the White House. He did what he had to do.
Yep. Yep, man. He took on George Bush's fucked up wars that he started, you know. Maybe he should have brought those things to an end. But I don't know. But I know that they was in Afghanistan.
Killed Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, he did that.
Huh?
And guess what, Tyra? And Obama during his last years, as president, I mean, he did 8. The point was that he was so disappointed that he could not get things done. He was very disappointed. That last speech, I seen it in his face. He was disappointed. He was so disappointed that he could not complete what he wanted to do.
Well, he had a Republican Party that was racist, basically, and Mitch McConnell wasn't going to support a black man, and the Republicans weren't going to support him because they knew white America didn't support a black president.
And those are for the people that say that he didn't get nothing done for black people, or he didn't do this or that. Well, they had a stronghold, and they wasn't gonna let him do certain shit where he needed them to sign off on certain stuff, or they needed to be able to vote all in unison in order to get certain things done. So, again, he could only do but so much. He needed to have a democratic, a powerful democratic, a House and Senate, which I don't think he had enough of.
Well, that's just they bullshitted when Barack Obama first got in office because they had all three of them, and they didn't
three
fucking
branches,
act.
yeah.
You know, and then they let the
and
Republicans.
They were bullshit. They were pussyfooting. They were acting scared, like, oh well, all delicate and shit.
Yeah, and then they let the Republicans take over the Senate, I believe, and that was it.
Yeah. And they probably did that on purpose because they knew that they would be against him. They probably did that on purpose, to make sure the House is stacked with Republicans opposed to a stack with Democrats. You see, so they probably made sure that took place. But yeah.
Then they messed up his Supreme Court picks and things like that. That's why he got that locked crazy bitch. So,
yeah.
He tried what he could.
And Biden wasn't his first pick for VP. It wasn't Biden.
Nope.
No, it was actually Bill Richardson, and Bill Richardson declined. Remember Bill Richardson?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Richardson is actually Mexican. Now, don't tell me why he got the name Bill Richardson. I don't. It should be Bill Gomez, but I'm saying Bill Richardson is actually Mexican, and that was his first pick was Bill Richardson, and Bill wouldn't do it. Bill said, "No, I'm going to decline."
Well, I think the man had a hell of a presidency, so I don't know. And Joe Biden, he's doing good too. It's just, his age, and it ain't nothing wrong with older people. I just wish that, we had a younger person to run.
I do too. But it doesn't matter at this point. This is what we're
No, I'm going to vote for him.
Like the same thing. For the most part, dominating. Both parties like the same thing. Whether you Democratic, you're Republican, for the most part, they keep bringing these people. Yes, they bring younger nominees. Where we end up at? Look at all. They don't want a woman. They act like they want a woman. We put a woman. We ain't got a woman. Got a woman vice president, but we don't got a woman.
Don't want her.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, or that woman at that. So I just say that both parties got some issues in that sense. With the oldness, with again, working with older people that are sharp versus older people that are not sharp, and then also making some room for the younger people and having the older people as consultation as counsel, as giving advice, things like that is crucial still for the younger, candidates or political people that's in position of power where they don't, be humble enough to get some good tips and information from the past, but let's not bring the BS forward, and that's what it is. Here we are. So we complain about Biden. That's a Democratic problem because they couldn't find nobody that they could say, okay, we're going to put the money behind it, and we're confident enough that he's going to win this guy, Donald Trump. The Republican Party had a bunch of different candidates. They end up with this old orange peel. I mean, what are we doing?
Well, yeah, I guess both sides are scared. I guess both sides are scared to make a move, huh? As far as changing the candidate.
Both sides are. I like Bernie, but Bernie didn't get in. That's what I like with Bernie, but Bernie
sharp.
didn't get in.
Bernie will have your ass on fire. He's like that's what he's moving faster than some young people type shit. But even look at the thing that we have around the country, around the world. Right? Yes, you have some countries developing, and they have some young presidents and also females, right? But then if you look at some of the biggest so-called empires or controlling, it's still old people. Old people. Look, the UK, yeah, you got a younger this Indian guy, but who's behind that? When you look at Parliament, when you start looking at they still using the damn kingdom, with this whole prince and queen and king, and then you go to the Middle East, and then you start looking at who's running everything. They got a prime minister or a president in Iran, and then you see who's running the show is these old sheikhs or whatever they are, right? Imams. And so you look at around the country, it's the same shit for the most part. Not everywhere, but for the most part. Look, Russia being one of the biggest, old. China, old. North Korea, young, old. Because he took over from his old dad using old traditions. China using old traditions.
They're trying to stick with the old.
In Africa, in countries in Africa, you have the same shit going on over there. South America, Central America, same shit going on there. How long it took for them for Fidel Castro to leave Cuba? I mean, I know a lot of people love him and all that, but he turned sour too. And people wanted to get rid of him. Guess what? They didn't leave. The brother ended up taking over. Another older person. Don't know when to step aside. And I'm talking about the elders that have thoughts and their process is not working for now. We got to get rid of that, And,
we still need them though.
Huh?
We still need them though, I think.
No. It goes back to what I said. It's important for consultation to have the ones that are sharp, like a Bernie Sanders, still in position of power. But you have a lot of people that they're going with their age. Their mind is going with their age. Some of them are younger, and their mind is going with their age. It's just what it is.
I agree.
There's a lot of young people that are no good either. You know what I'm saying?
But Jay, the situation in Cuba, that's a little different. That's I think Fidel stayed in power because he wanted to irritate the United States. That's why he stayed in power. You know what I'm saying? But
right, but he didn't better the country. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, no, he stood in power, but while he was in power is one thing. Hey, stay in power, Fidel, right? You overtook the country, but you were supposed to make it better. And he didn't. He held the power, but didn't do nothing. That's the bullshit I'm talking about.
How you gonna make it powerful? But how's you gonna make it powerful when you got over 60 embargoes on his country? Ain't much he can do. You see, so so that's what you gotta look at the situation. That's why I said that's a different beast, than the United States. You know what I'm saying? I think eventually, when Raul gets old, I think and people are saying that he's actually doing things over there that's making easier. I think.
Raul's out of the picture. They got a new president.
Oh, they got no, and I think that
they got a new president.
When Obama was, and the thing about Obama, when he was in office, what did he try to do to assist Cuba? He tried to help Cuba, and guess what? And look what happened. Remember, he opened up Cuba. He said, "Okay, we're going to open up." He was, yeah. So he was going to take some of the sanctions off of Cuba. See, and that went south. You see,
it sure did.
So,
especially after Trump came in, Obama did try to open relations with Cuba to see if they could have a good relationship with Cuba, and it looks like things was moving forward. But all of that went south. Trump came in, all of that went away, and now Cuba is back looking back. Now they back looking to Russia again.
The same old people in this country. Well, a perfect example. Obama being a younger person, fresh, thinking with a new mind, says, listen, let's have some talks and relationships. This is not working. These old thoughts is not working the way it's been. He comes in, tries to do something new, got it a certain place, they push it back. Who were the people that push it back? The same old motherfuckers with the same old tired thoughts that are not working. That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. That's
Here
exactly
we are.
what happened. Exactly what happened. Now they back to looking at Russia.
Haiti. Why is Haiti where it needs to be? Same old motherfuckers from this country, and even, I hate to say it, but some Haitian corrupt motherfuckers there that fuck shit up as well. That's what it is. But this country, again, same old people that say, oh, well, you know what? Why don't we help that? Why don't we help the country so it could develop itself? No. Oh, we give them aid, and then we start the same old cycle over and over. Nothing new.
It's always the
same old tired shit.
When Barack tried to, when he signed that deal, because Netanyahu didn't want it, and he came to speak to Congress, not behind Barack's back, but against him. But they still voted with that act they did with Iran, that they would give them their money back if they don't, as far as trying to get a nuclear weapon and the things that they needed. That was working so well. That was working so well to bring them into the fold. When Trump and them came in, Netanyahu said he wanted that deal tore up, and they tore it up.
There they go.
And that was one of the best deals that he made with them. Let's bring them up, that we can kind of calm some of this Middle East stuff, and they agreed to it, and they were following it. And when Trump came in, Netanyahu said, I want that gone, and it was gone.
Yeah. And Jay, as far as Haiti, bro, Haiti is kind of a slightly different beast, too, because of France involvement with Haiti. And they did not allow Haiti to develop itself after Haiti, as they basically kicked the French's ass. The point of the matter is the French never got over that. And I still don't know how World Court was able to agree with France and say, when they revolted in Haiti, that messed up their lifestyle and their generational wealth. This was the argument that France laid out to World Court. Because
they said they had to pay reparations. They had to pay reparations.
Right. So they made
reparations to France because they no longer had slaves, and the Haitians were their slaves.
Slaves. I thought that was the most insane argument. And the argument worked, and I think it worked only because they wanted to continue to oppress Haiti. Haiti being a black independent nation at that time, they want to.
Well, they want their resources. They want their resources.
And so that's what happened with Haiti, and Haiti never bounced back. I mean, when you paying the French government, when you paying France $1 billion a year for all those years, that country can only be but in the situation that it's in, based on the fact they paying them $1 billion a year. They're paying them $1 billion a year. I said, that's insane. Because they whooped their ass.
I say it's the same shit because it's the same old tired policy.
They didn't change it.
Yeah.
So whoever's in control is still
Well,
using this old ass policy.
They changed the policy recently, and they assassinated the guy. The guy that assassinated.
That's a problem. And so the problem remains with these old tired policies and certain older people that keep these things running. And then you got the younger people that believe in that, or they're brainwashed into continuing the same old bullshit. And here we are.
Wycliffe was. Remember the entertainer? Well, Wycliffe was going to go to Haiti and run for president because that's his homeland. And I guess he saw the politics behind it. He was like, hell no, y'all must ain't killing me over here. Said,
no, didn't Wycliffe go to jail? Didn't Wycliffe get in some trouble or some shit with the government?
Cross.
Oh, got it wrong. Yeah.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I've never heard that. But I do know he tried to run. He was going to run.
But let's not forget Bill Clinton. In 2010, he apologized to Haiti. They knew what they were doing. He apologized to Haiti.
Well, they went over there and took their children, and they still have not gotten their children back from that earthquake.
So he apologized to Haiti because when he was president, in 2010, former President Bill Clinton publicly apologized for forcing Haiti to drop its tariffs on their imported subsidized U.S. rice during his time in office. When he did that to drop their tariffs, it's just like they was really starting to after they got rid of the corrupt, the Papa Docs and the Baby Docs and all of the people. When he had them drop their tariffs, and that was one of their main imports, it decimated the country. So he is he apologized. That decimated the country, but they knew what they were doing when they did that.
Mm-hmm.
So I apologize for that. Well, then you see to it, Barack was president. You see to it that they give them some money or something, because you did that.
Right. Yeah.
Well, give them their children back. I think that, when they had that earthquake, they came in and they took their children, and they still have not gotten their children back.
But if they had given them reparations for him dropping the tariff, that would have been more. I get the children, but they should have been given billions back for decimating their trade by making them drop them tariffs. And maybe they would have been in a stronger stance to not let their children get taken.
Well, they took their children under those circumstances. No, to me, give me back my. We don't know where those children are. Are they in the slave state now? We don't know. And those babies should have been brought back to their families. And I don't hold them accountable for. It was after an earthquake was really bad, where they were still looking for people that were buried and everything else. And they came in, the Clintons came in and took them children. And as of this day, they still do not know where their children are. They still don't have them.
Yeah, I agree with you, but that was after they had been decimated. So the United States, Clinton and them did that. That was their policy. Had they not done that and allowed Haiti to start to make some strides, maybe they wouldn't have been in a predicament for their children to have been taken. That's what I'm saying. Their economy was decimated when they had to remove those tariffs. It was decimated, and they wasn't where they needed to be, but it looked like they were about to maybe try to rebuild. And when they removed those tariffs off their trade, their main import, I decimated them all over again. And then once you had them earthquakes and all that stuff like that, they were in no position to do anything about children, about nothing. And a lot of people are unaware of when that went on, but he apologized in 2010. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
And it was things like that always done to Haiti throughout their decades, and then also propping up corrupt leaders. Can't forget that.
Right, all that, all those elements. They could have took all the money they put in Ukraine and gave some money to the people and rebuilt Haiti completely.
Because Russia gonna win that war. Y'all know that. Russia gonna win that war eventually.
Yeah. You know what Russia gonna do? You know what Russia gonna eventually do? They're gonna get Ukraine. They're gonna go down and get Romania. They're gonna go down and get Albania.
Yep.
They'll get all of them. The hardest fight that they're gonna run into is gonna be Poland. That's gonna be their hardest fight. It's gonna be Poland. But eventually they're gonna get Poland too.
So they're going to win that war. It's taking them a little longer, a lot more money, but Russia's going to win that war. It is what it is, and our country's steady pouring money into it. So I don't know, things are just. I'm getting ready to go, but Tyrone.
Yeah.
Where Tyrone go? I want to ask you, what is your thoughts on the Congress? I don't think it's going to pass through the Senate, but what is your thoughts on Congress passing the draft? I don't think it's going to pass through the Senate, but what's your thoughts on that?
Passing the what?
The draft.
The draft.
Yeah.
I ain't know nothing about no draft being passed.
Yeah. It's all. What they're trying to do is pass the draft, meaning that your son, 1825, is already he's already can be enlisted without you even signing a piece of paper. That's how they're going to do it.
They're going to forgo. You know how you have to sign up for selective service?
Yeah.
They're going to forgo that and make it automatic.
Make it automatic.
Well, that's some bullshit.
You hadn't heard about that?
No, I'm reading now.
The Congress passed it. I don't think it's going to make it through the House, but nonetheless, the Congress, and they passed it overwhelmingly too.
Well, that is telling you something about the state of our military if they're going to those measures to get people in the service.
I thought the same thing.
Because
I thought the same thing. Yeah,
because we have a all volunteer force now. So what they're telling you is that it's not going to be all volunteer. You're going to be mandatory selected to serve, and that's not America. I don't know what the fuck.
I know.
Yep.
I know.
Yep.
And once it gets to the Senate want to add women to it too. I don't have a problem with that, but it's just that I don't think it's going to pass through the Senate. But because it's extremely unpopular, and I just don't think they need to be talking about that right now. But I get the understanding that they're not making their quotas. And some were saying that COVID played a big role in that. But I think they should be doing. I get.
What's playing a big role is the Republican Party and them claiming patriotism. Yeah. No, they're claiming that they're patriots, right? But the patriots that they're displaying is these radical racist people, and they're saying that they represent America. Young people don't want to associate themselves with that type of behavior. Whenever I joined the Army, and my patriotism came from loving the country, wanting to serve, wanting to be an electrician and work on electronics. That's why I wanted to serve. When you see the patriots now, you see them climbing on the Capitol steps, so at Trump rallies, screaming patriot. These oath keepers screaming patriots, waving the American flag. They don't want to associate themselves with that. So the messaging around recruitment and enlistment need to change in this country, and the Republicans need to be somehow or another put to the side, and this country need to tell them that this is not patriotism. That is not what a patriot is. That is not what this country represents. But they've taken control of that message about the flag and the patriots and loving this country. Don't nobody want to associate themselves with that. See, but they're blaming it on gay people serving why people don't want to enlist. But that ain't why people ain't want to enlist. I know if I was enlisting in the Army and I seen these racists in the waving the flag and I wouldn't want to serve with no goddamn racists. So I think the Republican Party is causing the recruitment numbers to go down.
Yeah, but Tyrone, wasn't there races already in the Army too as well? I mean, aren't there races in the Army?
Yeah, there are racists in the
Marines?
Army. Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, I was a equal opportunity counselor, and there's ways to address the racism in the Army through teaching and studying and always addressing it, right? But what I'm trying to tell you is before you get into the Army, what you see is these people in the street running around here screaming that they're patriots and stuff. That didn't exist before.
Yeah.
We have to see where that goes. I don't think if it doesn't pass in the Senate, eventually it's going to be brought back around. And if they're not making their quotas, they're gonna do it because you can't be what you call a superpower and you don't have the people serving in the military. And a lot of people, they don't want to go fight in foreign wars over BS. But the United States is not going to be like what they were trying to be during after World War I, World War II. They were trying to be like Switzerland. What do you call it? It's a term where they would just worry about America first. Isolationists. America got their nose in everybody's business. So that returning to isolationists, that's never happening again.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen. But I wouldn't want my children fighting in foreign wars. Now, we got attacked. That's different.
Yeah.
But all of this stuff spouting off in all these countries and stuff like that, no, you don't want your children over there fighting because all of these wars and stuff is just to help people to get rich.
Yeah, and they need to figure out a way to keep the military out of politics because as soon as they started making the military political, that started turning a whole bunch of people off.
Yeah, I agree.
And when I was in it, we was told, we just we'll keep racism to the side, keep politics to the side, and just do your job, and complete your mission. But these people that's making it political, they're screwing up. They're screwing up the recruitment numbers. They're screwing up why people want to serve and all this kind of stuff.
I don't know. I know a lot of people are upset about that. But even if the Senate don't pass it, and I don't think they will, it's going to come back around. It's going to come back around. Eventually, they're going to push that through. That's just my thoughts on it. Eventually, it's going to get, regardless of who's the president from the next election, they're going to bring it back around, and they're going to push that through. If the numbers aren't looking right, and with the whole world, if you turn it into a hotbed, China flexing, the Russians, they just go do whatever they want to do, then you got rogue nation Israel doing whatever they want to do, the Middle East, and then the prince from the Saudi prince today, he had some harsh words for Netanyahu. People's like, oh my God. I thought they was going to try to get that deal Biden put together because they were trying to get back in better relations with Israel. The Saudi prince got up there. He said they need to prosecute Netanyahu and somebody else for war crimes. And they need to. I was like, oh shit, there we go. Oh, and he don't have the most sense either. That Saudi prince. It's just that everybody's just acting a fool right now.
Yeah, I was just reading. It's what you said that they're going to automatically be registered for selective service, but it's not a draft. So whenever you're 18, you're supposed to go fill out this paperwork at the post office. That's the law. I guess they're going to take that step out of it. Look like.
Yeah, they're removing that. So they just gonna automatically be done.
Yeah.
And from some of the things that I was reading, they said a lot of people are forgetting and not doing it. So they're going to take it away from you and just do it. But the thing is, if something break out, people are afraid, their children are going to be called up to go serve someplace in a desert and get killed over some foreign wars. And I can understand that. But I also understand we have to have a military. But I'm just about, if we get attacked, I don't want our men and women over there trying to help Ukraine fight Russia. I don't want our men and women over there messing around with Israel because they about to go full blown with Hezbollah, or the Saudis raising up their back, or if Iran has said, well, they don't want to go to war. But let's just say that they do. I mean, I don't want our young people, because there's going to be a lot of black people, and that's the problem I have with it, over there fighting foreign wars.
Yep.
Over BS. A lot of it is BS, and I don't want our young people over there with that. And that's the problem. Now, somebody drop a bomb on us or something, that's different.
Yeah.
But it's these foreign wars, that's the thing that I have a problem with, and funding foreign wars.
Yep.
So.
That Israel thing ain't getting no better either. Is it?
No, it's not. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. I was so afraid that Iran was going to flex when they shot that thing over it, but they worked that. If you read a lot of different articles, the Biden administration worked that with the Iranian president, the one that got killed in the helicopters. Y'all do this, we do this, because we don't want no wider war, and we just, and then Israel do. And that's what they did. Because how you going to shoot off bombs and say, okay, we shooting them off now, they be there in 48 hours, 24 hours. That's what they did. That was all a horse and pony show. Iran is not trying, they was not trying to go to a full-fledged war. So, I mean, but you never know. Them people get to holler, what's that?
Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar.
Allah Akbar.
All of a sudden you hear they start going. You start hearing going hootie hoo, and all these Arabs come from all them countries.
They get ready to get down, and we don't need that. So that's a huge country with a lot of people, and that wouldn't be an easy war with Iran. And then the Saudi prince, he done raised up, I think it was yesterday. He came out there talking about arresting all of them. And I was like, well, Biden, how you promise if Israel, if they do the peace deal, that they can start back to relations with Saudi? And then here go the Saudi prince up there. He was talking shop yesterday, arresting them for war crimes, and they better say, oh, God. They don't think this thing is going to calm down no time soon. And Hezbollah threatening, they threatening them. So it's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this world is nuts.
But that's what Israel wanted, because they want the United States to fight them proxy wars for them. That's what that is. That's what they want. They want our men and women to go over there and die in a desert for them, and for them trying to get land and trying to get the minerals off that water, the waters off of Gaza. That's what that is. Nobody don't want, you don't want the young people and stuff. I don't care black, white, blue, green, brown. I don't want Americans dying in them wars like that, where it's all propaganda and it's all about making money.
Some may say it's for the cause of Jesus. They died for Jesus. It's holy land. Yeah, it's crazy that we talk about that, but it's true that people will say that that's their holy land. It's crazy.
Yeah, they died for Jesus. It's crazy. All of it's crazy. All of it's crazy. Well, guys, I'm going to go. Tyrone, this was good. I have to get up in the morning.
I appreciate you calling in. Yeah, I'm going to get off here too, y'all. So I'm going to open up the line. YouTube, I'm getting ready to shut y'all down. Miss Elisa, Mays, Joshua, Antoinette, Jay, Howard, Ant, all y'all, I appreciate y'all calling in. So I'm going to open up the lines.
Q&A session is over. All participants are unmuted.
And if you're on YouTube listening, go ahead and call in if you want to join the conversation. I'll talk to y'all later.